Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Iris Podcast Bracketology Megacast. That is a lot of words. That is too many instances of the word cast, but here we are. Nonetheless, I am Mr. Yeti, and joining me tonight, we have Booth, we have Bowsy, we have Navino, and we have Delphi. Guys, we are excited. This is probably our biggest cast of the season. We kind of go all in for this one. We get to put our brackets on the line so you can hold them against us on Twitter and everywhere else that you shouldn't.
At least somebody will finally tweet me.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally get those DMs I've been waiting for.
Booth is going to get some social media imprint from this. So
bad press is good press.
Yeah.
All press is good press.
All press is
Yeah.
good press. Dang it.
All press is good press, baby.
All right. Well, we welcome you today, guys. We're excited to get the playoffs going. We have a total of 58 teams across all three tiers gearing up for the playoffs starting tomorrow. That's right. Tomorrow, we bring you our first Harmony tier feature match that is Modify taking on the Turbo Throwers. Should be a good one to watch. Wednesday, we bring you another lower bracket match that is Doomsday taking on the Whirlwind Wildcats. And then on Thursday, we have another feature, and that one is Poseidon taking on Ragnarok Freya. So we should have some really, really good matches for you guys to watch this week. But you know, there is one thing that I have to say. Whenever you have 58 teams going in the playoffs, you have to lose 14 teams, and it's hard to say goodbye to 14 teams who participated in Tranquility this season, and Season 7 was a fantastic season. So, yeah, you were gloomy, Navino, I'm just saying. Navino was so sad, he turned his lights on.
I know.
Yeah, so
you can see the detail.
It is...
You can see how messy my apartment is.
It is that time where we do say goodbye in the only way that I know how to. But the way that we have for every season since our second, and that is with In Memoriam. You will be missed, every single one of you. As for Maelstrom, don't worry.
We'll see you next season back in Harmony tier.
Wow, I didn't even go that far, bro. I was just gonna say I got my spicy water right here that I'll be drinking for you. So, how's the soda? You ask. It tastes terrible.
I didn't ask.
Chat did though.
Yep, Nagi saw it.
Oh, dang it, Nagi! You ruined my joke.
It tastes like spicy foot. But anyways, let's.
Would you know?
You have different Thursday nights than I do.
Spicy foot and normal foot. That's the real question.
One is spicy.
Spicy.
Fun,
Yeah,
right?
but, okay.
You'll know when you get there.
Yes.
You'll know.
Basically, you'll know when you get there.
I am not a toes man.
You'll
so
find
I
out when you're older.
You'll know.
It's like the third soda compared to a foot. Ricky, that's because I'm noticing a flavor trend. It's kind of like when things taste like Coca-Cola, like, certain things taste like gym sock, and that's kind of where I'm at right now with these sodas. So we'll hope that the other three I'm drinking tonight are better than that. But anyways, we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later, guys. All right, guys, it's time to talk bracketology. So we're going to be, all five of us here are going to be breaking down the brackets piece by piece, one by one, until all the brackets have been predicted. It's going to be a long cast. I hope you guys are saddled in, strapped in, and ready to go. But here we go. The five of us are going to put our reputations, what's left of them, on the line, and we'll give it a shot here. So here we go, and we're going to start off with Booth in the Harmony tier. Booth, what do you got breaking down for us? Start off with that match one.
All right, I'm not going to lie. Out of all the matches that took me the longest to pick, it was probably this one, and this is the first one I started with. So I was really discouraged when I was making my brackets because I sat there staring at this. I ended up going with the Foxes. I thought they had a really impressive stage 2. I think Palm Beach is a strong team. They had a really rough group, honestly, in stage 2. But I'm going to go with the Foxes there. In the next matchup for Vanguard versus Firefight, I went with Vanguard here. I think it's a scary 3-seed team. Firefight, struggling definitely in the second stage, going up against some of the better teams. I think Vanguard is probably the best B tier team, like B group team we had this whole stage, to be honest. So I see them doing well. Then getting down to Ragnarok Loki versus the Jetpack Cats. I have the Jetpack Cats taking this. I liked how well their stage 1 performance really went. I wish they could have done a little better in stage 2, but I think they still have what it takes to at least get past Ragnarok Loki here. And then we get to the Sky Guardians versus Frost Nova match, the 3 versus the 6. This is an easy pick here for me for the Sky Guardians. One of the other very strong B groups. The number 3 seeds, I think, are very strong in the Harmony tier this season. I think that they'll have a pretty good win there against Frost Nova. Then if we get on to our next matchup, we're going to go with the Luminous Foxes, and the Flashbacks are going to be competing for that winner group there in the upper tier, and that's an easy pick for me for the Flashbacks. I think the Foxes have definitely improved quite a bit. I think they'll give them a pretty good run, but at the end of the day, it's the Flashbacks. I don't think there's too much I have to say there. Then we get to Chrysalis versus Vanguard. I'm going to go with Vanguard here. I really do think that they are I think they're just a very good team. I think Chrysalis and them is going to be a fantastic matchup. I think it'll come really close. But I really just see Vanguard just continuing to succeed on. Their stage 2 performance definitely woke me up a little bit. And then we get down to the Jetpack Cats versus Koala Kings. I have Koala Kings taking that. I think it'll be the repeat. I believe that matchup's already happened this season, if I remember back. I might have
Koala
that.
won
Yeah,
4-0.
I don't think it'll be too much different this time. I think Koala is still one of the strongest teams in the tier. And then Sky Guardians versus the Miami Yikes. I think this will be a good matchup, to say the least. 2 versus 3, real deep of me to say that there. But I think the Miami Yikes are going to take this. I got the number 2 seed for a reason. They've showed up when they've needed to. I think the Sky Guardians will definitely give them a run for their money. I think if they played 10 times, that's going to be like a Miami Yikes wins 6 times, maybe 7 times. I don't think that's a Miami Yikes winning all 10 out of 10 times in the matchup with those two.
All right, who comes out on top then? Flashbacks versus Vanguard.
So I'm going to go with Flashbacks here. I think it's going to be one of the hardest matchups, if not the hardest matchup so far of the season for the Flashbacks. I think they still come out on top here. I think it's going to be a close one. And then for the Koala Kings versus the Miami Yikes, I'm actually giving this one to the Miami Yikes.
I'm hurt.
I know. I'm sorry. I really just wanted to make you feel sad on live Twitch broadcast just to see the reaction. No, I think that's going to be one heck of a matchup. If we do get to see that, I'm hoping we get to see that with how our structure's set up. That most people would probably assume that, or at least Koala versus Sky Guardians, probably the 3 down there in the RM side. But I'm still going to give it there to Miami.
All right, Booth, thank you. So it looks like you got your 2 sides of the bracket coming out on top. Going to the championship bracket was the Yikes and the Flashbacks. We'll get into your lower bracket in just a little bit here. Let's go to Bowsy next. Bowsy, what do you have for your bracket?
All right, so let's start off with match number 1, Luminous Foxes versus Palm Beach Poggers. 2 teams that had sort of equal stage number 2s, but I'm actually going to give this to Palm Beach Poggers. I think they looked a lot strong. They did lose their main flex DPS in Dez as of recently, but I still think they're going to have a good chance to be able to beat the Luminous Foxes in that match. Luminous Fox is always the dice roll when it comes to predicting their matches. No offense, but it's just going to be hard to predict them. Moving on to match number 2, Vanguard Spartans versus Firefight. I'm also going to give this to Vanguard like Booth. I think Vanguard did really well in stage number 2. Firefight, they didn't look really good. They only won 1 map in a 5v6 because they used all 5 ults at the exact same time. So I think Vanguard is probably the easier pick here of that matchup here. Next up is Ragnarok Loki versus Jetpack Cats. Unlike Booth, I actually think Ragnarok Loki is going to win this game. Jetpack Cats have not been looking that strong, and after going to a map 5 against Frost Nova last week, you really have to consider if this team is playoff worthy. So I think Loki pulls off the upset here, and it'll be a pretty big matchup, and I think this is definitely a matchup to watch this week. Match number 4 next, which is Sky Guardians versus Frost Nova, and undisputedly, I think the Sky Guardians are the winners here. They've just been looking dominant all season, not dropping a single. Actually, no, they did drop 1 map in stage number 2, but they still looked pretty dominant throughout the entire stage, and I think they are very heavy favorites to make the championship brackets. So I think it's going to be a pretty good match, but I think Sky Guardians take it. Next up, match number 9, which is Palm Beach Poggers versus the Flashbacks. Undisputedly, I'm going to give this to the Flashbacks. They look incredibly strong from last season. I know, obviously, as I said on buy or sell, the most fearful thing is being the undefeated team come the playoffs. But to Flashbacks' credit, they do have a loss under their belt right now. So I think many people won't be chasing them, but we'll see. I do think Flashbacks will win that match. Moving on to Chrysalis versus Vanguard, match number 10. This was a really hard one for me to predict because both of these teams have sort of weird styles where they have a DPS carry, but I ended up giving it to Chrysalis. I think they have a little bit more power underneath them compared to Vanguard, and I think they're going to be able to bring it home against them. So my choice for that is Chrysalis. Match number 11, Ragnarok Loki versus Koala Kings. You would be living under a rock to pick Loki here, so I'm going to be picking Koala Kings to win that match.
What if I am living under a rock? Did you ever consider that?
Shut up. But I do think that Koala Kings is going to do really. Sorry, I didn't mean that personally, Yeti. Don't hurt me. But yeah, I think Koala Kings is going to win this match. Loki do look good, but I don't think they're up there to the level of the Koala Kings and the former champions. So we'll see what happens there, but I think it's going to be Koala Kings. And the final match here, match number 12, Sky Guardians versus the Miami Yikes. I'm also going to be picking the Sky Guardians here. They look dominant all season. The Miami Yikes, they did bring it kind of close, but Sky Guardians, you have to really look at that stage number 2 performance and the fact that stage number 1, they ended up beating the Koala Kings 3-2. So I think Sky Guardians have a very likely chance of beating the Miami Yikes here. I think it'll be a close match, but I still think Guardians will be able to edge it out.
All right, so let's wrap up your upper bracket then. You got Flashbacks taking on Chrysalis. Who's taking the bye in the championship bracket?
I have to say flashbacks. They have been dominant all season, and considering their match against Chrysalis was a full-blown sweep, even when I said that Chrysalis might be the team to take a map off the flashbacks, that is scary. And I don't think it's going to be a sweep this time, but I do think flashbacks will be getting that first round bye and beating Chrysalis in that match. Chrysalis, unfortunately, will have to play an extra game. And of course, finally, the Aura match, Koala Kings versus Sky Guardians. I am also going to be giving this to Sky Guardians. Koala Kings, I think, I can testify from everybody that we do think Koala Kings match may have had a little bit of implications, may have had some problems, but I do think Sky Guardians are still a powerhouse that you should not be underestimating. So I think that they are going to be getting the first round bye in the championship bracket. Koala Kings, unfortunately, I think they're going to have to fight for another match.
I put that in the wrong spot. Let me fix that, but
yep, no worries.
We'll get that there. All right. Perfect. So you got Sky Guardians and Flashbacks taking the buys into the championship bracket. We'll again get to your lower bracket here in just a moment. Go ahead, Navino. Let's start off in your Harmony tier upper. What do you got for us?
So first, Luminous Foxes versus Palm Beach Poggers. I went back and forth with this. I want to say LF. I don't like the fact that Dez is gone for Palm Beach. And then LF, like, I know Commercial and Jerry from like League Zero and a bunch of other tournaments, and they're good players. And so I really have a lot of faith in them if they're like in and playing well to do well.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. My bad. I kind of spaced.
And
that's the only match.
So Vanguard versus Firefight. I have Vanguard. I don't think anyone's questioning that Vanguard has looked a lot better. They just a lot more stability, and having Zorth added to their roster gives them a lot more like flexibility at the tank position because now they can play ball, they can play the Rhine, they can play anything there. So not as one-dimensional as I think they once were. Then for Loki versus Jetpack Cats, I'm actually going to say Jetpack Cats. Now, I think I did like a little mini stream where I talked about who I thought but earlier, and I think this is flipped than what I said earlier, but I'm going with Jetpack Cats today for the Loki versus Jetpack Cats because Loki really doesn't lean a lot on that 6-man, and Jetpack Cats are like Josh has a good Rhine, like they have the ability to just almost out-comp them, in my opinion. And also like just blinded on the Koreas just looked really strong lately. Then Sky Guardians versus Frost Nova. I'm actually not as high on Sky Guardians as a lot of people. So I think this will be a very close game, but still for Sky Guardians. So I have Sky Guardians beating Frost Nova. But I could also see being proven wrong.
Back to the top of your upper bracket, Fox's Flashbacks. Who do you got?
I have Flashbacks. They haven't dropped a map yet. Like in stage, it's like they've not dropped a map actually outside of the preseason tournament. And I guess like you could say they dropped maps because of the 4-0 forfeit, but like they've really realistically not dropped maps. So it's really hard to go against them right now. Again, the only team to take maps off them was Koala in the preseason finals. Then Jetpack Cats versus Koala. As I said, like Koala beat Jetpack this stage 4-0. I don't see that really changing unless Jetpack Cats had made some drastic changes. So Koala over Jetpack. And then for my last one,
you missed one. You missed Spartans.
You
and
missed
Chrysalis.
one. You missed Spartans and Chrysalis, but I'll put in your Koala versus Jetpack now.
I was like confused. I was like, why is the logo moving?
NA prediction.
Yeah.
NA prediction.
Why is it not?
I'm gonna say Vanguard versus Chrysalis. I'm going Chrysalis. I still think Chrysalis is probably the better team. Vanguards look good, but like Chrysalis is like still consistently look like a top 4 team.
All right, so so Chrysalis over Vanguard here.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry for Papaganess.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just, when I'm trying to do all the graphics and everything, and anyways, I digress. What's the last? What about the last one here?
So Sky Guardians versus Yikes. I have Miami Yikes. I just think the Yikes, like, I'm on the Virgo train after their game versus Koala, which they still lost 3-1, but Virgo to me is just like a breakout star. And like they play comps I didn't necessarily expect them to play. And they're one of the few teams I think in the tier that can play the ball comp fairly well.
All right. So Flashbacks Chrysalis, who's taking this one?
I have Flashbacks. Again, haven't dropped a map. like in the regular season. Have not. Then for like Chrysalis just is like still seem like kind of like to me dive one tricks at one point because they're very good at dive comps, and then Flashbacks 4-0'd them anyway on dive maps. Then for Yikes' Koala, I think Koala wins the rematch again. Like, because outside of the map, they won control, and then they were close in Rialto, but the other two maps were very much like just full holds from Koala. And I think like in the first 3 format, like it'll definitely favor the Koala Kings. No bias whatsoever, right, guys? No bias.
No bias
No
whatsoever,
bias.
but you're going to see a frame skip here in a second if you haven't already, as I deal with the fun of doing all the graphics.
Hooray, internet.
Hooray, interwebs. Hooray, computer.
Yay.
But we're continuing to work through that. Thanks for your patience here, guys, as we get there. But you have Koala Kings and Flashbacks, the preseason championship duo, taking the first round buys here in the championship bracket. We'll come back to you in a little bit here. Let's go now. Delphi, top of your bracket, upper bracket. Who do you got?
Sure. So a lot of the big points are already hit for a lot of these teams. So I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Luminous Foxes, Palm Beach Poggers, a really close matchup. I think we all kind of sat here and thought about it for a little bit, but I got to pick Luminous here. They just seem a little bit stronger, so I got to go with that. Vanguard Spartans and Firefight. I'm going Vanguard. They've seemed a little bit more consistent, and I think they're a little bit of an underrated team after the first few weeks, and they're really showing their stuff. So I'm going Vanguard. We got Loki and Jetpack Cats. I said it week 3 podcast. I think Loki, they had a rough 2 weeks, and they're gonna come back pretty strong, and they've definitely shown that. So I'm picking Loki over JPC, and then Sky Guardians, Frost Nova. Sky Guardians just they look like the more consistent team. They look a little bit stronger, a little bit more flexible. I have them going over Frost Nova here.
All right, let's move up to the next part of your bracket. Luminous Foxes, Flashbacks. Who you got?
I'm not gonna get into it. It's just Flashbacks. I think we all know how the top half of this bracket's gonna look like for the most part. But Vanguard Spartans and Chrysalis. I actually have Chrysalis winning this one. They've just had a little bit stronger of a stage 1 and stage 2, so I have them coming on top here.
All right, so Chrysalis moving into that finals there with Flashbacks. Let's go down to your Loki Koala Kings.
I've got Koala Kings, just definitely a really powerful team in the Harmony tier, and I don't know if Loki really has it in them. They've struggled with some other tougher teams in the past, so. All
right, and Sky Guardians and Miami Yikes. Who do you got?
I gotta give it to the Yikes. Honestly, I think kind of similar situation with Loki and Koala Kings. Sky Guardians kind of doing some work here, but Yikes is just definitely a team you don't want to underestimate going into it.
I see a lot of people in chat right now saying, like, man, this is going to be a long cast. And I just want to be like, what part of Mega Cast wasn't clear, y'all? Just saying.
In the title.
We're not even a half hour in yet. And we had In Memoriam, which was a 5-minute video on its own. Like, so come on, y'all. Come on. All right. Anyways, let's go down to your Flashbacks. Chrysalis, who you got?
Flashbacks, again, uncontested. Just, I don't think there's really an argument there for the other side. I don't think it matters what team is on the other side of that bracket right now. They're just looking really strong.
All right. What about the other one?
Yeah, Koala Kings and Miami Yikes. I gotta go Koala. They just seem like they're in it to win it a little bit harder, a little bit more committed.
All right, so you got Koala and Flashbacks taking the first round buys here in the championship bracket. Let's get to my bracket now. Oh, look, there's a random stream of Booth for some reason. I don't know why you're...
Hi, Booth.
This is the important. This is the content that people want. Don't worry.
It's really
it's ingrained into all of our monitors again.
That's what we're all here for, guys. All right.
There's kids watching, please.
All right. So let's break it down. I'm going to keep it simple here. Fox's Palm Beach. I think the Dez loss for Palm Beach is brutal. I think they'll still be trying to get whomever they bring in up to speed, and I think they lose this week. But I do think they'll set up nicely for losers bracket from there. Vanguard Firefight. I do think this match will be better than people think. Vanguard's looked really good in this stage, and Firefight's had a tough stage. But I don't think Firefight's I don't think Firefight's an easy matchup for Vanguard. I think Firefight will test them, but I think Firefight does drop this one. Let's do Loki versus Jetpack Cats. I also am going Loki this one. JPC, they've had a lot of roster changes lately. Loki has been getting better throughout this season. I think it might be a little bit of a hot take here, but I think Loki is going to come in and win this one. The last match here, Sky Guardians versus Frost Nova. I also am going to go Sky Guardians. Frost Nova has had a tough stage 2. Sky Guardians has had a very good stage 2. Despite a lot of roster movement for Sky Guardians, I still think they're a good enough team to beat Frost Nova at this point. All right, back to Foxes versus Flashbacks. I'm going to hit you with a hot take here and go with Flashbacks.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
I started sweating for a second.
I know. It's just, I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is so boring. Everybody's just picking Flashbacks. I just want to remind everybody that Flashbacks hasn't lost a legit map this season. So
Also, they were picked in like every
Yeah.
matchup last season too.
Right. So as I take it back to the main scene, just to prove my point, do we look stupid? Yes, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in college, so I don't look as stupid as you.
Wait, what? How does that work?
Never mind. Don't ask.
I wasn't ready to go back on camera, so I totally looked stupid when you made that transition.
I know. I was just like sitting there, like,
Wait, we were
like playing with my nose or something.
I'm playing with a rubber band, like.
I'm playing whatever's on my desk.
Yeah, I'm playing with this thing I found. I found some limbs.
Exactly.
All right, Vanguard versus Chrysalis. This is, I think, a bit of an upset, but I'm going to go Vanguard here. I think Vanguard's been playing really well lately. I think Chrysalis is a good team, but I think Vanguard will push them, and I think Chrysalis will get a bit of a wake-up call in this match to get to where they need to go for the championship bracket here. Loki versus Koala Kings. I think this is my hottest take of the bracket. I'm just kidding. I'm going with Koala Kings.
I was like, wow.
I just wanted to make Navino lose his nachos there. All right.
There's no nachos today.
Yeah, no nachos today. At Sky Guardians versus Yikes, I also am going Yikes. I am really high up on Virgo and really high up on Stunky. Like, it's just a very, very good DPS duo. You know, you look at Milo and O from the Sky Guardians, like, wow, that's a great DPS duo. Who could match that? Well, Stunky and Virgo. In fact, they're probably better. Like, I think Stonky and Virgo bring more to that table. I think the support, I think Just a Little Shy is a fantastic support. And I think Turtles and Macaroon are a severely underrated tank duo. So that's what I'm going with there. I like Yikes, and I think they win this one. Yo, thank you, by the way, for those 10 gifted subs. We appreciate that, Whittle.
Thank you.
All right. Can we get some claps for Whittle in the chat? That'd be great. All right, guys. Flashbacks versus Vanguard. It's going Flashbacks. I wanted to find a reason to pick against them, but again, I'm not going to fall into that trap right now. I don't think they're going to get beat before the championship bracket. I just don't see that happening. And then Miami Yikes versus Koala Kings. I am going with the Yikes on this one. If you watch their last match, the Yikes played Koala Kings in a pretty darn good match. It was a very, very good match between the two teams. And I think the Yikes will get another shot at them. I think they would come out on top. I think it'll be a very good match. But I think because the stakes are a little lower with both teams being locked in the championship bracket, I think the Yikes have a little bit of intangible edge trying to win this one here and come out on top. All right. That is my upper bracket here, guys. We are done with Harmony Tier. That is one down in about 12 to 15 minutes. That's not bad. It's not bad. And this is the longest one. This is the longest part right here. So we're working our way through, guys. Let's get to the Discord tier now. Start us off, Booth.
All right. So first match we have Mechanized versus Lotus. I'm going to go with Lotus here. I think they definitely had a tougher stage 2, some better opponents to go up against, but I have faith in Lotus here. Then we go to Paradise Lost versus Mark 3. Definitely going with Paradise Lost. They had a fantastic stage 2, and excited to see what they're going to be able to do. I think Mark 3 is. If Mark 3 would have been able to pick up that win against Lotus, maybe it'd be talking a little differently here. But I still think Paradise has their number. Then we get to Domination versus the Holy Jalapenos. I'm going with Domination. I think the Jalapenos are much improved in this stage. I just think Domination again had a very tough group to go through. And I've always had tough time in like the past seasons. That 5 seed's a deadly spot to be in. We've had a lot of winners come out of 5 and 6 seeds in the past, and I think this is a good matchup here for Domination. Then we go to Excalibur versus the Inferno Foxes. I'm going with the Foxes here. I think they get the victory here over Excalibur. I think obviously they had a great stage 2, ended up winning that Group B, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people in the playoffs. And then if we move on to our next match, we have Reminiscence versus Lotus. Definitely Reminiscence here. They're number 1 seed here for a reason. They've been fantastic this whole season. I don't see that ending whatsoever. And then I think it's going to the next one. We have Paradise Lost versus the Spuds. I think that's going to be a fantastic match. I'm ending giving the edge here over to the Spuds, but I think that might be. I'm just excited for that match. I'm hoping there's a chance I get to at least watch that one back, or maybe we end up getting it streamed or something. Because if we can see that's going to be awesome. I think Paradise will give the Spuds one of their hardest of the season, but I still think Spuds come out on top. Then we get to Echo Fleet versus Domination. I'm giving it to Echo Fleet. I'm going to stay on their hype train for a while. I think I used to play with Toxic. He used to be on my team, so I'm definitely biased towards his tank line. I think Echo Fleet's just very good. Then we get to Kuoka versus Inferno Foxes. I'm going to give it to Kuoka here. This was a tough one again, though. I didn't want to. I already bagged on Navina a little bit earlier, so I'm gonna give him this one at least here. But I think Inferno Foxes are gonna give him a run for their money that they haven't seen since Rem. So I'm very excited for that matchup. And then I'm gonna end up giving Rem the victory to come out at the top there over the Spuds. But like I kind of mentioned earlier with one of the other ones, that's not a win 9 out of 10 times. I think Spuds could have them on any given day if Rem doesn't show up properly, or even if they both show up. I think Spuds have a chance of getting that victory, but I think majority of the time there you're going to see Rem come out on top. And then I'm going to give Echo Fleet the victory here for the final matchup. I think they're just too good of a team right now. I think realistically, I think them and Rem are just the 2 teams to be beating at the moment.
All right. Thank you, Booth. You got Echo Fleet and you got Reminiscence making that championship bracket bye in the shocker of the century. Wow, I am stunned. All right. All right, Bowsy, your turn. What do you got for us? Start us off.
Let's start off with match number 1, which is Mechanized versus Lotus, and I am going to give the advantage here. Also, to Lotus, they looked really good last week, and even without their actual off-tank partner, they've still looked amazing throughout the regular season. I think they're going to take the advantage. Next up is match number 2, which is Paradise Lost versus Mark III, and this one is kind of hard to pick because these 2 teams, the last time they met was in week 1, and it went to a map 5. But I do think now that Paradise Lost are much better than they were back then, and that they are going to be taking the victory here over Mark III. I think they just have a better shot at winning this time around. Next up, match number 3, Holy Jalapenos versus Domination. I'm going to give this to Domination as well. Domination have been looking like a really good team. They had a very unfortunate stage number 2, as Booth said, so I think they make the comeback here to win it all. Next, match number 4, Inferno Foxes versus Excalibur. I am also going to give the advantage here to Inferno Foxes. I swear to God, I did not copy Booth's script, guys. But Inferno Foxes have looked a lot better. They've been able to bring themselves back from a very rough start of the season. Excalibur have been the opposite. They've had a very rough stage number 2, and as much as I want them to come back with it, I think Inferno Foxes is just going to be better. Moving on then to match number 9, which is Lotus versus Reminiscence. I got to pick Reminiscence. Reminiscence has been one of the most dominant teams. Their only loss this season comes to Quokka Queens, so I think they have a better shot of winning over Lotus. Next up is Paradise Lost versus SEAL Team Spuds, and this actually might be the biggest upset I have in Discord tier, but I am picking Paradise Lost to beat SEAL Team Spuds. I think Paradise Lost have a huge opportunity here to try and take advantage of the Spuds. The Spuds are not bad. I'm not going to deny that they are. I'm not going to deny that they are really good, but I think the Paradise Lost is running off of a lot of momentum from stage number 2, and we'll get advantage of that. Next up, match number 11, Domination versus Echo Fleet. I'm also picking Echo Fleet here. They had a really strong stage number 2. Domination had a really rough stage number 2. Echo Fleet is looking like a true playoff contender. And finally, match number 12, Inferno Foxes versus Quokka Queens. I have to be on Navino's side here and pick Quokka Queens as well. They looked really good throughout the season. And yes, they did lose in stage number 2 to Echo Fleet, but Navino was not available for that match. So I think as long as they have their full roster, I think Quokka Queens is going to be able to defeat Inferno Foxes easily.
All right. Guy is just catching up here because I got crossed up a little bit. But you know what?
No worries. Take your time.
We're getting there here. Go to your next one. Let's wrap up that upper bracket. Who do you got? Rem, Paradise Lost.
Rem. There is no denying that Reminiscence is an amazing team right now, and I think they are going to easily take a victory over Paradise Lost. No offense to Paradise, but Rem has just been dominant all season, and I don't see them slowing down for a while. And then for match 22, which is the RM tier seeding choice, Echo Fleet versus Quokka Queens. Again, the only reason I feel Quokka Queens lost to Echo Fleet was because Navino was not there. They weren't with their full roster, and Navino
Really
is probably one of the...
today.
Really?
Look, you are probably... For 2 seasons in a row, you have joined a team, and you have brought that team to immense amounts of victory. So I am putting a lot on you, Navino. I think you are going to bring Quokka Queens to a revenge win over Echo Fleet in match number 22. So
I'm too worried. We've done like Beetlejuice where we've summoned him by saying his name too much. So please refer to him in a different name for the rest of the broadcast if you can.
No.
All right, Bowsy got Quokka and Rem moving into that championship bracket bye spot here. All right, Navino, you've been built up as some sort of team-saving wunderkind here, but are your predictions up to snuff? I guess we're about to find out. What do you got for us?
So I have Lotus over Modify. I'm actually going to give a spoiler real quick. I am of the opinion that all the A-tier teams are just better than the B-tier teams. I don't think anyone from B-tier, except maybe Paradise Lost, has shown me that they can be an A-tier team. And I'm pretty sure if I went back and did the math, I don't think the only A-tier team to lose to someone not in the A-tier was Excalibur. Because they lost to who did they lose to in stage 1? They beat Lotus, but then lost to someone else.
Fenrir?
Fenrir. They lost to Fenrir. So, they were the only A team. The only A team to lose to anyone else not in the A pool. So, take that as you will, but that's how I am. And that being said, I'm taking Mark 3 over Paradise Lost. I think Mark 3 will recover now with more time with Teractin. So, this is a spicy take, And I think Paradise Lost is very good, but I think they're kind of one-dimensional with, to me, they are the Lars show. To me. Oh, and Domination did lose to Reckless Sigma. My bad. I didn't realize that. But then for Domination for Holy Jalapenos, I have Domination. And then for Inferno Fox versus Excalibur, I have Excalibur. I think I juked you out yet.
You did. That's okay. Keep it going here. You got Excalibur taking it over Inferno Foxes here. Let's go back to the top of your bracket then. Who do you got between Lotus and Rem?
Shockingly, I have Rem. They're dominant. I got my name in the Discord is #1 Asdo Simp, and that remains true here. Then Spuds versus Mark 3. I think I'm actually going to pick Mark 3. This is my actual upset pick of the entire thing. And here's why. Spuds played them very close when they got their brand new main tank Gordo, who then got dropped later because of some issues, and now they have I think a better main tank than Gordo in Terrectin. So I really think that Spuds could have a run for their money here. Because I just think the DPS line of Mark III is so good. Domination for Echo Fleet. I'm going Echo Fleet. Domination lost to them, but if they have everyone there, I could see this being an upset. Because that's the theme of Domination is they just never seem to have everyone there.
Ruth.
Like, I'm just like, when will you have a full roster, fam? And the answer is never, apparently.
Never.
Then Excalibur versus Quokka. I've got to go with my own team, Quokka. We beat them before. I think we'll beat them again. I love Chief. I love Easy, but like, I just don't think we lose them in a rematch.
All right, top of it all then, Rem versus Mark III.
As much as I am on the Mark III hype train, I have Rem winning here. Rem is just dominant again. Like as someone else said, like their only loss was to QQ before I was even on the team, and I'm good with that. Then for Echo Fleet versus Quokka Queens. So my own bias is obviously going to show here. Yeah, Yeti, you know where I'm already going with this. I'm going to pick Quokka Queens. I think the remap that we just do a lot better because now we have more flexibility comps because as much as I love Silent Sword, everyone knows what we're going to play when Silent Sword is in. Everyone knows. And I love that man. And so we've made a lot of changes and like our game versus domination showed that. It was pretty dominant 3-0 to the last map where we maybe did a little bit of trolling. And yeah, that is my championship bracket.
Got Quokka and Rem. I'm seeing a trend here. Delphi, your turn. Do we see any changes from this trend?
I think in the first the first week there's gonna be a few changes, but ultimately not necessarily. For Mechanized versus Lotus, I actually have Mechanized coming out on top of that one. I just favor that team a little bit more, so I gotta go with it. As far as Paradise Lost versus Mark III, I think Paradise Lost is just more consistent of a team, and I got to pick them to go on top. Holy Jalapenos Domination, I kind of went with Holy Jalapenos here. They're a little bit spicier, so I wanted to pick everything that Vino didn't pick, so
That's fair.
That's completely fair,
and then,
honestly.
Inferno and Excalibur, I got Inferno going up against the Quokka Queens in the next second week, so.
Yeah, you literally picked the exact opposite
Yep.
picks from Navino. That is impressive.
We'll see. We'll see. how
Totally
the
not
rest of them-
planned, but it makes for a good anime.
Yes.
I'm on the A group hype train. A group hype train. Let's go.
All right. Mechanized Rem. Who do you got?
This is where things start to parallel a little bit. I've Rem winning over Mechanized, no doubt. Just the strongest team, in my opinion, so. Next, I have Seal Team coming over Paradise Lost. Seal Team Spuds, they have Beppo, and I think he's probably one of the best main tanks in the tier, and honestly could move up the trans next season if he wanted to, and do really well. So, I really like Seal Team Spuds on top of that one. For this one, Echo Fleet and Holy Jalapenos. I have Echo Fleet moving up. There's a reason they have a 1 in their name. So. And then Quokka is pretty obvious as well. Quokka and Inferno, just another really strong team. I think Discord tier, like their top 4 teams are pretty dang close, and the rest just don't necessarily follow suit. So, I think it's like I said, those top 4 are going to be really close matches, but everything else is kind of going to be a little bit of a steamroll for them.
All right, so wrap up the upper bracket here. You got Reminiscence. You got Seal Team Spuds coming out on top.
As much as I hate to diss my Spuds, I got to pick Rem going out. The Spuds definitely a strong team, but Rem just has shown consistently that they're super strong. They're very coordinated. They're winning a lot, so I got to pick Rem.
All right, and Echo Fleet, Quokka Queens.
Same thing as Navina. Got to pick Quokka coming out, not because of any kind of bias like he does. But, I just think Quokka is a little bit stronger than Echo right now.
All right. So, again, I think, is that all 4 of you guys picked Quokka and
yeah.
Rem?
Mm-hmm.
No, Booth did EF and Rem.
Oh yeah, that's
Let's
right.
go
I
to the
did.
tape. You did do EF and REM, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. All right, so this,
He watched the VOD back on me there.
yeah,
I
he
just,
did,
you know,
he
I'm just
did.
not, I'm not just old and having, decent memories still, Actually, I think I might be older than you, but whatever.
All right.
I will DM you.
I'm gonna keep it simple here. I think Lotus are the better team than Mechanize. I think Mechanize is in a tough spot coming into this bracket. I don't like this first round matchup for them, and I think that they're staring at a really tough path here to get through the playoffs, despite a strong seed. Paradise lost Mark III. I think y'all. Paradise lost here. I don't just think Paradise Lost wins. I think they win by a lot. Tarakta is a fantastic main tank, and I think he adds a lot to what Mark III has been doing. But Paradise Lost is a team that just legitimately has been... The only 2 times they've lost this season are 5 mappers. They've had very, very close losses to get where they are. I think they win this one up against Mark III. Domination, Holy Jalapenos. You brought up a great point. Domination is a fantastic team when their whole team is there, and we just haven't seen their whole team there outside of when they beat the SEAL Team Spuds. So as high on Domination as I can be, I think Domination has to have the roster there in order to make it happen. So I got Holy Jalapenos beating them. And then Infernal Foxes versus Excalibur. Excalibur is a team that is super intriguing to me. Excalibur is a team that plays up to their competition very well, but has a tendency to also play down to their competition very well. I think this is a time for Excalibur. I think they will rise up a little bit here. I got a bit of an upset over Infernal Foxes, I'll be honest with you, I think if they're Infernal Foxes had a bit of an easy path to get that 3 seed.
I would agree.
So I think that 3 seed is a bit of an easy path for them, and I think I got the Foxes going down here to Excalibur. Next round in the upper tier, Lotus versus Mark III. It's Rem. Sorry, Lotus versus Rem. Sorry, it's Rem. I just don't know how you could pick against them right now. They're just too good. Paradise Lost versus SEAL Team Spuds. I was 50-50 on this match, and what ended up winning is my bias.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not hiding it.
I'm not gonna.
It is what it is.
I can't really hate on that considering my bracket.
I will be very honest with you. If you are against Paradise Lost and you are a top seed, you should be nervous. Yeah. Because Paradise Lost is a very good team. And I think they could easily win any one of these matches. But we will see. I see a lot of people in chat are like, Paradise Lost has this. You know what I have to say to that? Next season, we're looking for people on the Iris podcast. If you're interested in coming on here and putting your predictions on the line, you're welcome to join us. But until then, you can shove it.
Dang, bro. Dang.
All right. Let's
join the content creation team, please.
Yeah, let's plug. Join the content creation team. I'm really a nice guy, I promise.
Sometimes.
Sure.
Let you in, uncage you. Normac, I'm afraid to uncage you. Normac, I've seen your Twitter. I'm not uncaging you. I'm not uncaging you. I am not going there. All right. Echo Fleet versus Holy Jalapenos. It's Echo Fleet. Holy Jalapenos, I'm a big Chimanzi fan, but I don't care how big of a Chimanzi fan you are. They have the husband-wife buff going right now on Echo Fleet, and
the e-dating buff.
It's the e-dater buff, and that Minecraft wedding is legal in 14 states. So let's go to Excalibur versus Quokka Queens next. I have Quokka winning this one. As high up as I was on Excalibur against Inferno, I think Quokka is just a little too good, and I think Excalibur does does drop on this one, or does win this one. All right, Rem versus SEAL Team Spuds. Now, a lot of people might look at this match and say, oh, of course he's going to be biased. No, I'm not going to be biased. I am not going to fall into that trap. I am picking the Reminiscence because I'm not stupid. Quokka versus Echo Fleet. I am going to hit you with the Echo Fleet on this one. Again, that wedding officiated by Minecraft Steve, I think, is going to give that team the buff they need in order to get past Quokka here. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't think Quokka's as good as they were right earlier this season. I know Navino's hyping them up right now, but I think losing Nova hurt that team a little bit. And I think as good as a player as Navino is to bring that team there, they did nerf Diva remech damage a little bit down, so I do think that does make him a little bit, does make his chances there a little lower.
We can't have a repeat of Harmony Grand Finals last season.
Please, no.
I had so many.
All right, guys.
They had children, Navino.
That's Discord tier, guys. We did that one in about 20 minutes, so that wasn't bad. We're making pretty good time right now, guys. Let's get to the trans tier. We got a fewer matches, and Booth, start us off.
All right. In our first matchup, we have the SS Cuttlefish versus Corvidity. I'm going to give this one to Corvidity. I think I'm going to kind of imitate a little bit here what Navino said about the Discord tier. I think the A groups are just a lot better than the B groups.
Well, Corvidity was in B group. They just got seed boosted.
Well, it's okay. I'm very tired. No. All right. We won't get into details about a lot of the matches. I think Corvidity, if would have kept up on some administrative things, would be seated higher, obviously. That Hog, I was producing their last match. It was weird. It was really odd to see teams not know how to play against Hog because that comp wasn't anything to play against.
Well, for what it's worth,
it's chaos.
For what it's worth, the way Plat Laws were playing in that match, I don't think they could have handled any main tank or any tank line. So
yeah, that was yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
moving on. Anyway, moving on. I have next one. We have Birdside Ibis versus Atlas Arcadia. I'm giving this to Birdside Ibis. Just like the performance better so far than Atlas Arcadia. Had a rough stage 2, to say the least. Then we go on to Not Your Average Academy versus the Devil Dukes. I'm going to give this one here to the Devil Dukes. I think they had a lot of tough teams to go up against in that stage 1 matchup, in that stage 2 matchups, and I think they can definitely pull the number here. Then we go to Amnesia versus Reckless Shockwave. I'm going to give this one over to Amnesia. Definitely a different team now that they've had some roster things stabilized around, some equipment things figured out. So gonna give that one over to them over Shockwave, who just impressed me a little more. And then when we go to our next matches, not going to be too much of a shock here. Alpha over Corvidity. I won't go really have to say too much there. Alpha is just so dominant of a team. Then we have Dirt versus Bird Society, which I think it'll be closer than we might give it credit for, but I think Dirt still comes out on top here. Just coordinated team and playing together. I think they have their number on this. And then we go to Godhand versus the Devil Dukes. On any given day, I would pick Godhand against most teams on the Transcendence tier. It's sometimes I know their only real losses or any things that have gone on are just because somebody's been busy. That's just a dominant team for a reason. They always have been. And I think they'll continue on with their strength there against the Devil Dukes. Then Amnesia versus SEAL Team Spud versus the Decapitators. Excuse me. I won't say the name I used to say all the time. Thought was the name because I didn't read hard enough. I want to make sure he knows that I wasn't just spoofing your team last season on the podcast on purpose. I just was dyslexic last season. I used to say I used to say the Despotators.
I remember that.
I remember like that.
I remember
that. I'll give a little the background behind that. The computer I remote desktop into at my work is named Desposito because the guy that tells you when the computer was built. That's what the guy named it. So I just got the team. I had to type in that proxy to log into that, and then I just read it and I was like, oh yeah, that's what the word is. Of course, I didn't actually read the name, but it was a decent meme then. I'm gonna give it to the Decapitators here though over Amnesia. I think the parity is just really strong for these top 4 teams in the upper bracket. I think it's be hard for them to get dislodged by anybody. And then I'll keep it short and sweet, really. I think Alpha continues on they're the team to beat. They have been the team to beat. They're going to stay to be the team to beat. And then I have God Hand taking the win over the Taters here. I think the top three here are can really duke it out with each other, but I think really the top two stand where they are right now for a reason.
Alpha and Godhand receiving the buys in Booth's bracket. We've been so chalky all day today. Bowsy, are you gonna break this? Are you gonna break this up?
I'll try. I can't guarantee anything, but first off, I actually have to save this because I actually changed my bracket live on stream because I realized some things need to be changed. So we'll start off with my first match, which is SS Cuttlefish versus Corvidity. Recently, SS Cuttlefish has dropped a lot of players, and for that reason, I'm going to be picking Corvidity. As much as I love that logo and as much as I love SS Cuttlefish, you're going to have to develop an entirely new synergy in order to try and win this match, and that is hard, especially this late in the season. So I'm giving that to Corvidity. Next up, Bird Society Ibis versus Atlas Arcadia. I'm also giving this to Bird Society Ibis. I think they just look better than Atlas Arcadia right now when it comes to the matchup. Next up is Not Your Average Academy versus Devil Dukes, and I'm giving this to the Devil Dukes. I think they have a strong cohesion. They had a very rough stage number 2, but I do think they can take it to middle-of-the-road teams like Not Your Average Academy, as they are sort of top 8, but they're also not like top team right now. Next up is Amnesia versus Shockwave. Amnesia, this is an easy pick for me. Shockwave have had a very rough season. And stage 2 was not convincing for me to give them any sort of victories there. So I'm giving that to Amnesia. Moving on to match number 9, Corvidity versus Alpha. I am picking Reckless Alpha to win this, surprisingly. But I think Alpha is just a force to be reckoned with right now. So I'm going to be giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I say they're going to win it. Next up, Bird Society Ibis versus Dirt. I am going to be picking Dirt to win. I think Dirt had a very rough stage number 2. I do like Dirt. I think they had a very rough stage number 2, and they can make a comeback here in the playoffs. I think they have a huge opportunity to do that. I think they also did they lose to Bird Society Ibis in the regular season? I can't remember.
They did not.
They did.
They have not.
Yeah,
played.
they did not. So I think they're going to be able to bring it back here, winning against Bird Society. Next up is Devil Dukes versus Godhand, and I'm going to give this to the reigning champs. Godhand, I think they are at full capacity right now. They are showing their dominance. They had a very rough start to the season, and I think they're going to bring it back here and now. So this is a good opportunity for Godhand to make that move. And finally, Amnesia versus Decapitators. I'm going to give this to the Decapitators. I think this is an easy win here for the Decapitators. Amnesia, not a bad team, but I think the Decapitators are just a step above everybody. And I'm not saying that because Delphi's in the call.
All right. Alpha, Dirt. Who's winning?
Alpha. I think Alpha is still a force to be reckoned with. And considering they 4-0 everybody, I think it's going to be, I think it's an easy win here. But I'm going to say, if Dirt take a few maps, I'm going to be very cautious about Alpha. So I think it's going to be a close match. I think Dirt is going to be reformed. And as for the last match, Godhand versus Decapitators, this is something I actually have not written yet on my bracket, but I'm actually going to say it right now. Godhand is going to win over the Decapitators. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Delphi. I have to disappoint you on cast. But yeah, I think Godhand is going to be able to get that bye over the Decapitators.
All right. Again, Godhand Alpha. Navino, are you going to shake it up?
Probably not. Maybe a little bit. Probably not. I'm going to have Corvidity over Cuttlefish because I don't even know who the Cuttlefish roster is. So kind of hard to predict the roster I don't know. Ibis over Atlas Arcadia. I'm going Ibis. Then Nia versus Devil Dukes. I'm gonna go Devil Dukes. I think like just the body of work and like Devil Dukes, like the way I see it is like Devil Dukes is in the other upper brackets, probably it's a 2 seed instead of Dirt because like how that game went in stage 1, but they just got unluck of the draw with being in my opinion the stronger of the 2 groups. Then Amnesia versus Shockwave. I am going to pick an upset here. A Shockwave over Amnesia. I gotta have faith in Nyx, bro. I gotta have faith in Nyx, and whoever else is on that team. Because I'll be honest, it's just really Nyx to me. And also, like, I think Amnesia has been inconsistent. Like, they barely beat Atlas Arcadia, they barely beat Nia. Like, and I think even though like gosh, I keep getting them Sigma and Shotgun mixed up. Even though like they had a rough stage too, like I think the competition in that group is just so much higher than Group B. Glitch, that just sounds like you have some familial issues to work out. So yeah, and then going on to Corvidia versus Alpha, like no shocker here. I have Alpha. You know, that's really it. Then like there's nothing more to say.
Nope, there's really not. There's really not.
Not really.
And then Dirt versus Ibis. I actually had the upset for Ibis beating Dirt. I think Ibis can really bring it back. I think they can compete with the A-tier teams. And I think Dirt has looked inconsistent. And also, didn't they get a forfeit win? Or am I thinking of a different game? They did, yeah, which got them the 2 seed, right? Yes. It was a game versus Corvidity, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would have been the 5 seed.
Yeah, so like I'm not the biggest Dirt fan, even though I know if MPC was here, he would say he likes Dirt or Thug, but I'm not a Dirt guy. Godhand versus Devil Dukes, as much as I love Bias, I can't do it to them. I can't. I gotta go Godhand. They're just like very dominant right now. And then for Shockwave Shockwave. Yes, I keep getting them mixed up. Shockwave versus Decap. I have Decap. And then, shockingly enough, I have Alpha over Ibis. I know. And just to spice it up a little bit, No, I can't do it to Delphi. I can't play as Ego. You know he played mine. But I just gotta pick Godhand again. They're just still if any team's gonna repeat to me, it's Godhand. If any team. And also for Alpha, even though they lost really early on last season, there's no team that just is the same as Arcana, Emperor, or Battalion like they were last season to me. So yeah, I have I'm a little spicy. I got some spice and flavor, but nothing really else.
All right, guys. Again, Godhand and Alpha. Delphi, save us.
Muted.
I shall.
Okay, he just said Alpha Godhand. That's it. He said you can skip.
Yes.
That's a fat cap. One of those is right. I'm getting real spicy. SS Corvidity. I actually have Corvidity winning that one. Same thing about the rosters with SS Cuttlefish losing a bunch of people. I don't know if they can get used to who they have right now this late in the game. BSI
Good
and
Lord.
Atlas.
I just have one thing to say, and that's she.
What is with these gifts tonight?
I come back to that. Jeez.
Yes.
Dang, that's like 18.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
BSI
20.
and Atlas Arcadia. I BSI taking it. They just seem to, a little bit stronger in the regular season. So, NYAA versus Devil Dukes. Devil Dukes just lost Boca, and rumor has it they have maybe another player or two not necessarily playing for the rest of the season. So, they're on the search for some players, and it's the same thing with SS. Like we don't know if necessarily their new player, if they are able to get one, is going to be able to mesh well in a playoff setting. So I have NYA winning that one over Devil Dukes. And Amnesia versus Shockwave. Funny thing, we just played Shockwave last week, and we warm up scrimmed with Amnesia, and both of them we rolled both teams. So I have Amnesia winning that one, but it's going to be hella close.
Man cannot be stopped.
Nope. I've got all the spicy takes of trans tier.
All right. Corvidity versus Alpha. Who do you got?
A non-spicy take, Alpha. It's kind of a little obvious on that one. It seems like every tier has that one team. It's just like, yeah, they win this one. Yeah, they win that one. And Alpha is that team for trans tier. BSI and Dirt. I actually have BSI winning this one. Dirt, I think, kind of fell into the position where they're at, and I don't know if necessarily they can come back and progress on through the playoffs. So GDH NYAA, that's another pretty obvious match going with GDH there. And then Amnesia and Decap, same thing. Like I said, we scrimmed them, or warm up scrimmed before our Shockwave game, and I don't know what was going on with them. They've had a lot of inconsistency throughout the season, so I got to go with Decap beating Amnesia on that.
All right. Alpha,
catching my
Bird
breath.
Society. Who's winning?
I am gonna say Birds Alpha. Yeah, it's just Alpha. Again, another pretty obvious match there. I think BSI might be able to take a map, but I think that'll be pretty much it. GDH and Decap. This is where we get really spicy. So GDH played Decap already, and it was a 3-1, and it was almost going to be a 2-2 until we decided we wanted to C9 off of the point on Junkertown. And now that we know GDH are Ball Sigma 1 tricks with Zen Brig, we can kind of abuse some of the comps that we've been working on. And also, we've been making strides on the back end as well. So I'm picking Decap on that one. No bias, just strictly, rational decisions. GDH is really, really strong, but I don't know. As long as they can adapt, I think they'll be able to win. But I don't know if they will be able to. They're all just a bunch of old men, especially that Orsted guy.
Your own org is calling out to you to stop and calling you cringe.
I am not cringe. I
right.
diff Derek when I'm on Zen. Dang it. Derek is Orsted, by the way. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I got.
You got Decaps and Alpha in winner spot.
Yes, I do.
He does.
I am the captain. Damn it.
For now.
Not after this podcast.
All right. Yeah, not after this one. Cuttlefish versus Corvidity. Cuttlefish lost a lot of people, but I think you are severely underrating the people they did not lose. Corvidity has been crazy inconsistent all season. Cuttlefish has had a rough stage too, but I think they're ready to feast on some teams, and they're going to be hungry to prove themselves here in match one. So I got Cuttlefish winning this one. BSI versus Atlas Arcadia. I got BSI as well. I've always been high on this team. I think they're a severely underrated team. I'm excited to hopefully get a look at them here in the playoffs. We haven't really got a good opportunity to feature them this season. It'll be a first chance we get this playoff run. So looking forward to that opportunity. NYAA versus Devil Dukes. I think NYAA is a scary, scary team. Devil Dukes, there's some questions about what's going on with the roster right now. I know they're working on some stuff and changing some things up. Which honestly is a fair thing to do, and I think it sets themselves up nicely for the playoffs. But I think NYAA is a bit of a giant killer. That said, I do go with the Devil Dukes here still to win this one, but I don't think it would be a shock if NYAA was able to win this one. Amnesia versus Shockwave. I also am going with Amnesia here. I think Amnesia is just, quite frankly, a really good team, and I think they will pretty swiftly handle Shockwave here to go into the next round. The biggest question I have with Amnesia, of course, is are they going to be able to hold a candle to some of the bigger teams in the tier, which we're going to reverse order this just because I can, because I'm running the graphics, and I'm going to say no. No, they can't. And Decapitators will beat them, I think, rather swiftly. I'll be honest with you, Playoff Smugs will be in full power, and Playoff Smugs is it's a special thing.
Playoff Smugs is real.
Playoff Smug is real. He can hurt you.
He has enough room for 7 people in the backpack.
It's true.
We have a 6-player roster.
Exactly. He's got a 7-person backpack and a 6-person roster, so if you want to get in, now's the time. Devil Dukes versus GDH. Again, a match that I could see Devil Dukes, with the roster changes they're making, I could see them posing a threat to GDH. But I think the clear winner here is GDH. I think Devil Dukes will bring this match pretty close, but I still think GDH is set to win. I know GDH just got done beating them up in the last match, but I still think Devil Dukes has a really good core. And with the roster changes they're making, you never know. You can't rule them out. BSI versus Dirt. BSI, again, a team I'm super high on, but speaking of teams that rise to the occasion in playoffs, have you guys seen Playoff Dirt before? Playoff Dirt is the most frightening animal in existence. Just watch out for them, guys. That's all I'm saying. Cuttlefish versus Alpha. I think it's Alpha. No shot here for Cuttlefish, I think. To take that one, I think Cuttlefish get beat up pretty bad in this one. Even their new players, exposure to what the Transcendence tier can offer teams. Then for these matches here, Alpha versus Dirt. Alpha, great team, fantastic team, no question. But as I said before, have you seen Playoff Dirt? And you will see them in the loser match slot 23 here in this part of the bracket here, because I do have them losing that match here against Alpha. And then GDH versus Decapitators. Again, I can't. I trust me when I say I want to pick Decapitators, but I am not going to fall into the trap of picking my own team to lose. I'm going to pick them to win.
It's warm and cozy.
I'm going to pick them to win. I think Decapitators beat GDH.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you cut off my joke. I do think the Decapitators again are positioned really well right now going into the playoffs. With GDH is a very good team, but I think Decapitators, Charybdis added a nice element to that team, and again, Smugs on that DPS line is very scary, and I would keep a really close eye on what Decapitators can do in the playoffs. They're preseason champs as well, so it's worth mentioning. All right, guys, that's all the upper brackets. We finished them all in an hour. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for a montage. Let's get it going here. Montage brought to you by Nagi this week. Thank you, Nagi. Fantastic montage. Absolute banger tunes as well on that one. So thank you so much, Nagi, for that fantastic montage. We have a comms check coming around just around the corner, but we're going to get into your lower brackets first. And Booth, we're taking it back to the Harmony tier. Let's start breaking it down here. You got a lot of matches to go through. Jersey Boys, Phoenix Rising.
All right, yeah, let's start it off there. I'm giving this to the Jersey Boys. They had that one matchup against, what would that have been? Luminous Foxes. Really decided to get him down here in the lower bracket. Ended up going 3-1 there. So definitely the team in one of the teams in the lower bracket, I think, to keep an eye on making a run out of there. I then see bacon. Okay, I'll let you get it. I'll let you to drink it. I'm scared.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, then we go to the 8th seed versus the 9 seed. We have Strix versus the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I went back and forth on this one a lot. At the end here, I'm going to end up giving it to Strix. I think they've had a bit of a turnaround that really I wasn't expecting. I was probably expecting them to maybe get that 9 seed. I expect them swapping with Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies there. I think they'll come out on top. But I wouldn't be surprised if Fire Breathing does well. They had a good run in the elimination pool. And then we go to the Big Bang Buccaneers versus Boop. Easy pick here for Big Bang Buccaneers. Just to look stronger. Boop's had a rough season. Then we go to our featured match tomorrow night, twitch.tv/Watch Tranquility, which is a weird thing to like buff or like show off to use like the website and the way to get to the page when you're on the page right now, but tell your friends. We have Modify versus Turbo Throwers. I'm going to give it to Modify. I can see this being a very close one. I'm very happy we got to pick this one for our featured match. I think it'll be one of the closest of the week. I think Modify have a lot to prove. This is obviously the time to do it. It's a time for everybody in this spot in the lower bracket to do it. But I think they're going to have the number here for the Turbo Throwers. Then we go to Jersey Boys versus Firefight. I'm going to give it to Jersey Boys again here. I think Firefight's just had a rough go at it. I think Jersey Boys will be on a streak here. But then we'll go to Palm Beach Poggers versus Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I'm going to give it to the Palm Beach Poggers. They're still a really strong team. I really had trouble not having them win against Luminous Foxes earlier, so definitely don't see them struggling too far here just yet. Then we have Frost Nova versus the Big Bang Buccaneers. I'm going to give it to the Big Bang Buccaneers. The missile is just too strong. We were having a discussion about it when we were watching the montage there.
Missile is dangerous on the sticks. Just saying.
Missil's so dangerous.
Wait, does he play on a console?
He plays on
a controller.
Stop.
Yes.
No.
He played on a controller and a laptop for. I think he still might be on the laptop. I was a sorry for about a year.
He's been playing on controller since he started. Yeah, it's really funny when you watch him turn around.
Yeah, it's what I know. I always thought he had like the smoothest transition where you kind of move when you're doing the Rhine swing to cover more territory. Like you do that so smooth. He's like, yeah, I'm on a controller. Oh, well that explains why. Then Ragnarok Loki versus Modify. I think Ragnarok Loki here, pretty easy pick. I think I was really going against them, not even losing in the upper tier anyway in this first round matchup. So I don't think they'll have too much of a worry here against Modify. Then the Luminous Foxes versus the Jersey Boys. I think Luminous Foxes take the victory here. Not an upset by any means, of course. I think the Foxes there'll be a matchup again, actually. That'll be a stage 2 rematch up 3-1, as I mentioned, for the Foxes, but I think they'll stick on top again. We have Chrysalis then versus Palm Beach Poggers. I have Chrysalis winning this. Then we go to Jetpack Cats versus Big Bang Buccaneers. I'm going with the Big Bang Buccaneers with the victory here. I had Jetpack Cats winning earlier against Ragnarok Loki, but I think Big Bang Buccaneers kind of slid into a 7 spot, a little lower than I was expecting them to get to. I think they'll be able to have a pretty good match of it here. Definitely versus the Jetpack Cats. And then we have Sky Guardians versus Ragnarok Loki, which is a heck of a matchup in the lower bracket. It's going to be a deck out, but I think Sky Guardians take the victory there. And then the team surviving the lower bracket, I have Chrysalis taking it over the Luminous Foxes to move on. And then I think that the Sky Guardians will end the run here for the Big Bang Buccaneers to make it up into the champions bracket.
All right, Sky. So your championship brackets: Sky Guardians, Vanguard, Miami Yikes, Chrysalis, Flashbacks, and Koala Kings. Let's get it to our next predictor here. What do you got for us, Bowsy? Who's coming out of that lower bracket?
Starting off with match number 5, Jersey Boys versus Phoenix Rising. I'm also going to pick the Jersey Boys here. They look really strong, and it's unfortunate that they're in the lower bracket, but I think they're going to be making a good lower bracket run. Next up is Strix versus Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. And I've seen a lot of people picking Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, but I think Strix, after that win last week against Luminous Foxes, they're starting to come back into full form. Yes, they're not taking it as seriously as they did start of the season, but seriousness is not the only thing that can win you games. Talent and a lot of synergy can, so I'm going to give it to Strix over Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. Next up, Big Bang Buccaneers versus Boop. I got to give it to the Bucks. They've looked really strong, and it's kind of unfortunate that they were in this lower bracket, but I think they're going to be making a good lower bracket run. Next up, feature match, Modify versus Turbo Throwers. I think history repeats itself. We see Modify win over the Turbo Throwers again. So, good matchup there. Next up, match number 13, Jersey Boys versus Firefight. I also have the Jersey Boys winning this. Firefight has looked kind of weak throughout this second half of the season.
I'm sorry, can I get that Turbo Throwers Modify winner again, please? Sorry.
Modify. Sorry.
Thank you. Go on. Sorry.
So, yeah. Yep, I was going to say Jersey Boys versus Firefight. I think Jersey Boys is going to take the victory. Firefight has not looked as great, and I think they kind of got the first seed. They kind of got that second seed in their stage number 1 because they were in sort of a weird group. So I think it's going to be Jersey Boys winning that match over Firefight. Next is Strix versus Luminous Foxes. And again, any Luminous Foxes match is kind of a dice roll because they usually aren't consistent enough. So for that reason, I'm giving this one also to Strix. I think that win last week was a statement victory. So I think you're going to see Strix win it again, and they're going to continue their lower bracket run. Next up, Big Bang Buccaneers versus Frost Nova. The Bucks. I can't deny that the Buccaneers are looking really strong, so I think that they're going to be winning this match as well, and also making their lower bracket run. Finally, in match number 16, Modify versus JPC. I'm going to be giving this to the Jetpack Cats. I said a lot of stuff in their first round that they look pretty rough and they've had a lot of roster changes, and Loki would get the upset win, but I think they're going to be taking the win over Modify.
All right, Jersey Boys versus Palm Beach. Who you got?
Palm Beach. This is sort of easy. Palm Beach, of course, do have their sort of roster changes, but I'm still going for them to win over the Jersey Boys. I think they just have a lot more DPS arsenal up their sleeve compared to the Jersey Boys, and I think they're going to be able to win it. Next up, Strix versus Vanguard. I'm sorry, my Pantheon boys and girls. I have to choose Vanguard. Strix's run ends here. Vanguard is just an ultimate beast right now, and unfortunately, they have to go up against Chrysalis, who are another ultimate beast. I think Vanguard takes this victory, though. Next, Big Bang Buccaneers versus Ragnarok Loki. Of course, Loki ended up beating Big Bang Buccaneers in stage number 2, but Big Bang Buccaneers didn't have their full tank line. And for that reason, I think Buccaneers are going to get the revenge on Ragnarok Loki here, and we'll get the victory, and we'll move on to the lower bracket finals. So count me for the Bucks. I think they're going to win that match. Finally, Jetpack Cats versus the Miami Yikes. I think the Miami Yikes are going to win over the Jetpack Cats. So it will be an interesting match, but I think the Miami Yikes are just going to be a little bit more stacked in that DPS line.
All right, Bowsy, who survives?
My survivors, first off, for Palm Beach versus Vanguard, I say Vanguard survives. Just because Palm Beach, obviously, they're going to not have Dez on their lineup, and that might cost them. But we'll see. I mean, I can be proven wrong any day of the week. But I do think Vanguard right now is the favorite. And then Big Bang Buccaneers versus the Miami Yikes. I'm sorry, Yeti. I made this last-minute decision. Miami Yikes. I was originally saying Big Bang, but I think Miami Yikes have a more clear shot of getting to the championship bracket than Big Bang Buccaneers. It will be a close match, I think, but I think Miami is just going to edge it out barely.
You got Miami Yikes, Chrysalis, Sky Guardians, Flashbacks, Koala Kings, and Vanguard. Vivino, bring some order to this madness.
All right, so for Jersey Boys for Phoenix Rising, I have Jersey Boys. You know, I don't think there's much to say there. I don't
Nope.
think it's right. Yeah. Then FBRD versus Strix. I'm gonna go Strix. I think they've looked really great, and I think FBRD's had a good comeback, given like how badly their stage 1 went. But I think Strix is hitting their stride at the right time. Then I have Big Bang Buccaneers versus Boop. I have Big Bang Buccaneers. I think Boop still needs to make a lot of improvements if they want to compete with some of the better teams. Then Frost Nova. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Modify versus Turbo Throwers. Turbo Throwers has been on an upward trend, but I'm gonna go Modify because in Juice Box I trust. In Juice Box I trust. I know I juked you again, Yeti. Then going back to the top, I have Jersey Boys versus Firefight, and the winner of that, I'm going to have Firefight. Every time I predict Jersey Boys to win, they lose. So I'm going to reverse curse them, I think. We'll see. But literally every time I've predicted them, I'm pretty sure they've lost. Then Strix versus Palm Beach Poggers. I don't think I don't think Strix are hit the stride that much, so I got Palm Beach. And then Big Bang Buccaneers versus Frost Nova. I think Frost Nova is still a solid team. I think they beat Big Bang Buccaneers. Honestly. Then Modify versus Loki. I have Loki. They'll do pretty well. And then going back up again, I have Luminous Foxes beating Firefight. Then Palm Beach versus Vanguard. I'm actually gonna go with Palm Beach. I think they will make the comeback here. I think they will do it again, do it well. And then I have Frost Nova versus Jetpack Cats. I'm actually gonna go Frost Nova because they just played each other, and Frost Nova only lost 3-2. So I think that that game was so close they could easily flip it back. So I think Frost Nova, given the time, will bring it back. Then Loki versus Sky Guardians. As much as I want to make an upset pick here, I cannot. So Sky Guardians over Loki. Even though I've said it a bunch of times, I have so many questions about the Sky Guardian main tank, the tank thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me struggle to go against them at this point. So now Luminous Foxes versus Palm Beach Poggers, a rematch of the upper bracket. I did not do that intentionally. I'm gonna go actually Palm Beach on the rematch. I think it's all about buying Palm Beach time to get their new Flex DPS oriented, and Luminous Foxes is the most inconsistent team I've ever seen. It depends if they have 6 players. And then Frost over Sky Guardians. I'm going to go Sky Guardians, but I would not be surprised to see a Frost Nova upset, honestly. Because I do think Frost Nova has the capability of beating these better teams and doing well. I just think they can. Yeah.
All right. Delphi, bring some sense
Well,
to these people.
No can do, Buckaroo. Jersey Boys, Phoenix Rising. Gotta go Jersey Boys. I think they're a pretty strong team, and I honestly think they can make a run in the lower bracket here. Strix and Fire Breathing. I think I'm going with Strix on this one. Week 3, they played against each other, and Strix won 3-1, so I think they're gonna run it back. The Better Business Bureau. Oh, sorry. Big Bang Buccaneers and Boop. I'm going BBB. I like the team and I like the people on it.
I liked it. That was good.
Thanks. I'm glad the reaction came 5 minutes after the joke. And then Modify and Turbo Throwers. I kind of like Modify for this one. Throwers in the name, so I feel like they're not going to get very far in this lower bracket at all. So yeah, Modify for that one. We have Jersey Boy, Firefight. I'm picking Jersey Boys again. You know, like I said, I think they're gonna make a hard run for the ending here. So, Strix and I
Palm
don't know why
Beach.
I'm blanking my
Palm
sheet
Beach.
wrong. Yes, that's right. Strix and Palm Beach Poggers. I'm picking Palm Beach for that one. They just seem like a more consistent team. Uh, now I have Big Bang and Frost Nova. I'm picking Big Bang still. You know, they have a really strong tank lineup, and they have Mr. Yeti, who only throws some of the time. So, and then Modify and Jetpack Cats. I'm picking JPC for that one. I just think they're a stronger team.
All right, Jersey Boys versus Luminous. Who do you got?
I'm going with Luminous here. I think this is where the Jersey Boys reign ends. So I'm going with them.
Palm Beach versus Vanguard.
I'm going with Palm Beach. As strong as the Spartans are, I think that's going to be a little bit of an upset, and we're going to see Palm Beach moving up.
All right. Big Bang versus Loki.
Again, I was a fan of Loki after week 2, even though they were down 0-2. So I got to go with Loki here. As much as I hate to see the Big Bang Buccaneers booted out, I got to pick Loki.
And Sky Guardians, Jetpack Cats.
Again, going with Jetpack Cats. I think they're just the stronger team.
Over Sky Guardians. That's a
Yeah.
bit of a spicy upset there.
Yeah, a little bit of a hot take.
All right, who survives this this lower bracket?
I think Palm Beach beats Luminous here. You know, I don't know. I kind of like that match a little bit more. I think it's going to be really close, but I kind of like Palm Beach moving in.
Loki versus JPC. Who comes out on top?
Like I said, Loki is a really strong team, but I think Jetpack Cats is just another tier higher. I think they're just on another level, so I'm picking JPC for that one.
Yeah, JPC, Chrysalis, Koala Kings, Flashbacks, Palm Beach, and Miami Yikes in your in your championship bracket.
Yep.
Changing it up a little bit there from a couple others. All right, I'm gonna keep it simple here. Jersey Boys win over Phoenix Rising. Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are being horribly slept on by this panel. That team has improved greatly since the beginning of the season. I'm also a firm believer in Night Night, and I'm also a disbeliever in anything Bowsy endorses. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Wow.
I also
Okay.
I'm just a big believer in Night Night. I think Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are a very, very good team for a 9th seed. Big Bang Buccaneers versus Boop. No bias. Just the correct pick. Then Turbo Throwers versus Modify. I'm a little surprised to see the entire panel go Modify here. Modify has had a rough go of it as of late. I think Turbo Throwers win this one. I think Turbo Throwers have gotten better as the season's gone on, and I think they come off a very impressive win over Fighting Potatoes. I think you have to look at Turbo Throwers as the winner here. Vanguard versus Jersey Boys. I again am going Jersey Boys. I am really high on that team. Always have been. Godzilla, Bento. That is a great roster. Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies versus Palm Beach Poggers. I do as much of a believer in Night Night as I am. I just don't think they can beat Palm Beach. I think Palm Beach is going to squeak out that one, but I think it'll be closer than you'd think. Frost Nova versus Big Bang Buccaneers. I got to go with the team with the far better Junkrat player, so I'm going with Frost Nova. I haven't seen their Junkrat player, but I assume it's better than mine. Turbo Throwers versus JPC. Again, I am delivering the spice right now. I am a firm Tiger believer. I'm putting Turbo Throwers over JPC. That is probably my wildest pick right there, but I am going with Turbo Throwers here. Jersey Boys versus Luminous. Again, I just a firm believer in Luminous and firm believer in Jersey Boys, and I think Luminous is just too inconsistent. So I got Jersey Boys continuing that run in lower bracket here. Palm Beach versus Chrysalis. This was a match. Chrysalis won 4-0 earlier this season.
It was 3-1. It was 3-1.
It was 3-1. Palm
Yeah.
Beach against Chrysalis here. I gotta go Chrysalis. I just don't see Palm Beach coming in that quickly here. Sep, I know you said Yeti's bracket makes your head hurt, but that's what it's like when I watch Chrysalis play. Anyways, Frost Nova versus Loki. Frost Nova versus Loki. I'm gonna go Loki here. I'm really high on what Loki's been doing as the season's gone on here, so Loki is where I'm going. Turbo Throwers versus Sky Guardians. I am a big Tiger believer, like I said, which is why I'm going to put Sky Guardians into that slot here. No offense, Tiger, but it just ain't going to happen. Had to put a little debate on that. Now I have this errant thing here. Get back in your home. All right. And then wrap it up here. Jersey Boys and Chrysalis. Again, I am a huge Jersey Boys believer, and I'm going to continue that. This is probably my biggest upset team of the tournament. I just firmly believe in that team rising up here and overcoming it, and I think they take down Chrysalis. Then Loki versus Sky Guardians. Sky Guardians is a team right now. They're a very good team, but I worry about their lack of consistency up front right now. I think Whittle and I think Milo and I think O are a fantastic DPS duo. The question is, as this playoffs goes on, does Loki gain enough confidence in order to take down Sky Guardians? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. I think Sky Guardians wins this and goes into the championship bracket. All right, we're done with Harmony tier, guys. It's one tier down. Lower bracket's the longest one, boys. We're getting through her. Discord tier, Booth, take us away.
Yes. First, also, thank you, Whittle, to hit another 2 more subs. And then we had 5 from Sleepy Jim, I think is what that would be.
Sleepy G.
CPG. Thank you guys for the gifted subs. Okay, lower bracket here for the Discord tier. We got Ragnarok going against Alt F4. Not going to put too much going with Ragnarok in the victory there. Just hasn't been Alt F4 season. Then Valkyrie versus Monarch. This was a tough one, and I'm going to go with Monarch here. I think they can have the turnaround here against Valkyrie. I think that's a good matchup for them. But I could see Valkyrie flipping that one there on me. We then have Poseidon versus Ragnarok Freya. I'm going to give this to Freya, actually. I think Freya would be sitting in a much different position if they would have been able to join earlier in the season. I think they could have the upset here over Poseidon. Then we go to Redacted versus Reckless Sigma. I'm going to give it to Redacted here. I believe this is a rematch. It might. Not a rematch? Okay. Need to double check those before I get in there. I would have looked, but my cat jumped in my arms, and I couldn't then move my hands legally. Now she's down, so I'm able to double check the things I say out by checking the match sheets. But anyway, that takes us back up to the top again. We have Fenrir going against Mark III. I'm going to give this to Mark III pretty easily. I think they're a much stronger team. I got that A group in stage 2 being pretty strong. Then we're going to have Mechanized versus Monarch rematch there. And Mechanized took the 4-0 last time. I think they'll take the 4-0 probably again. They'll definitely get the victory over Monarch.
First of 3. That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know. I had some smart building up in the head, and it's gone.
You count the draw as a win.
Count the draw as a win. If they take the 4-0, I'll donate $1 million. There you go.
Wow.
Wow.
Don't curse yourself like that, because
Cav changes the rules.
This match only.
What if they forfeit though? Does that count?
They forfeit a 4th map hypothetically. All right.
Let's for my bank account. Let's theoretically not get into this. Then we have Excalibur versus Freya, the 6 versus 10 seed. I'm gonna give it there to Excalibur. I know, even though I think I was just talking about Freya there being definitely underrated, depending on how they came into the tournament, I still think that A group was just stronger than the rest. Excalibur will do well there. Then the Jalapenos versus Redacted. I'm going to give this to the Jalapenos to win here over Redacted. I think they're the better of the B groups that came through. And here, I'll work my way up because I'm already talking about them. I'll have the Jalapenos winning over the Inferno Foxes as well. It's a different stage 2 team than it was a stage 1 team, and it'll be a different playoff team than it was a stage 2 team. As Beth said earlier, the brother-sister combo got beat by the husband-wife combo. Well, I don't know if there's a combo on the Inferno Foxes, so at least they get the victory on this one in the head-to-head there. Then Domination versus Excalibur, which is definitely a rematch. That was a Stage 2 featured match, I believe. I think that was the feature match at Stage 2. Ooh, definitely a featured match at some point. I'm going to give it back to Domination. If I won't dog more on the roster, but as long as the things that were said earlier hold true as well. If not, I see Excalibur coming back there, but I'm going to give the Domination for now. Paradise Lost versus Mechanize. That also, I believe, would be a rematch, and I think Paradise Lost will take that one pretty easily over Mechanize. And then Lotus versus Mark III. Gosh, actually, oh my gosh, these are a ton of rematches, aren't they?
Rematch.
Yeah, there are a
Yeah,
lot of
a lot of rematches there. I'm going to give this one to Lotus again. They just played a couple weeks ago. I think it was just a couple weeks ago here in Stage 2. I'm going to give Lotus the edge there over Mark III in the rematch. I think Mark III have more to prove, but I think Lotus are still a stronger team. And then coming out of this, then you have Lotus versus Paradise Lost. I'm going to give it to Paradise Lost. This was a tough one. Went back and forth quite a bit on it, but I think Paradise Lost will be the victor of the two of those. It's tough going against those Group A's in Stage 2. I know how strong they all are, but I think Paradise Lost just had a really good second stage, and they can ride off that here pretty well. Then Domination versus the Holy Jalapenos. Went back and forth on this one quite a lot. I won't lie, I'm not as up to date with the Discord discussion as others, so I didn't know as much about the roster issues. So I have Domination taking this one. I could see myself easily being wrong by that, though. I could see the Jalapenos coming back, depending on the week for Domination. But I'm just going to consider the teams all at full strength for the most part, and I think if that's the case, then Domination will come out on top.
Got Domination Spuds, Echo Fleet, Rem, Paradise Lost, Waka. All right. Navino, I'm sorry, Bowsy, we're all counting on you. We're all counting on you here. What's the picks?
That's a terrible idea. First off, match number 5, Ragnarok Fenrir versus Alt F4. I'm giving this to Fenrir. As much as I love Thug and as much Alt F4 have made an amazing playoff appearance, I think it ends, unfortunately. So Fenrir are going to win that. Next up is Monarch versus Valkyrie. And this is an unbiased opinion because obviously people know I like the Pantheon org. But I'm going to give this to Valk. Valkyrie have made themselves put themselves into finally a stable roster situation. And I think now that they are going to be able to take any team at full capacity. And I think they take the revenge on Monarch. So I'm going for Valk on that one. Next up is Poseidon versus Ragnarok Freya. And I'm giving that to Ragnarok Freya as well. They look extremely strong after the Elam bracket. So we'll see if they're able to bring that. This next match, Redacted versus Sigma. Probably the hardest match in Discord's here for me to predict because both of these teams can win or lose any given day. So I'm giving it to Sigma. They have an amazing streak going on after sweeping the Elam bracket. I think they're going to be able to take it to Redacted and win the match here.
Poseidon versus Freya again. I'm sorry.
Poseidon versus Freya.
Thank you.
Yep, no worries. And now, next match, Ragnarok Fenrir versus Mark III. I'm giving this to Mark III. They just look stronger than Ragnarok Fenrir right now, and Fenrir have been utterly inconsistent all season. So I'm giving that to Mark III. Valkyrie versus Mechanize. I'm also giving to Valkyrie. Valkyrie they show that they are strong, and I think that they're going to be able to take Mechanize. They're going to be able to take Mechanize in the victory, so yeah, I'm giving that to Valkyrie. Next up is Freya versus Excalibur, and I'm giving that to Excalibur as well. Excalibur, obviously, they have trouble against top teams, but can play the lower teams a lot stronger. So I think you're going to be seeing Excalibur win that. Next up, Sigma versus Holy Jalapenos, and I'm giving that to the Jalapenos. I think they have a better chance of beating Sigma than any other team right now. Sigma are very inconsistent, and I think Jalapenos are going to take advantage of it. Starting from the bottom this time, Holy Jalapenos versus Inferno Foxes. I think we see a repeat of what we saw in stage number 2. At least I'm pretty sure it was a repeat. Regardless, Inferno Foxes beat Holy Jalapenos in that case. Next up, Excalibur versus Domination. We talked a lot about Domination's roster issues, and I think that's going to come to plague them here. Excalibur get the rematch win over Domination in that case. Next up is Valkyrie versus SEAL Team Spuds. And again, I have to say SEAL Team are a lot better than Valkyrie, unfortunately. SEAL Team are taking the win in that match. And finally, Mark III versus Lotus. This is one I actually changed on the spot. Mark III, I think, are going to be taking a rematch victory over Lotus. I love Lotus, and I love how they got the victory last week, but Mark III, if they're able to get more synergy with Tarakton in these next few weeks, I think they're going to be a powerhouse, and I think they're going to be able to take back the revenge victory.
All right, who survives?
The survivors, I have SEAL Team Spuds winning over Mark III. I think that stage 1 victory over SEAL Team Spuds ahead over Mark III shouldn't have gone to map 5. I think SEAL Team is a strong team, and you should watch out for them in these playoffs. And the second match, which is Inferno Foxes versus Excalibur, I have the Inferno Foxes making the championship bracket. I said this in buy or sell. I think Inferno Foxes has the most likely chance to come back in the championship bracket, especially after sweeping stage number 2. So I'm giving that to the Inferno Foxes.
So 1s and 2s and 3s all going back in for Bowsy. Navino, are you following in line? Are you going full chalk like that? Well, you can't. You already have Mark 3, so no.
Yeah. So what I would say is for Fenrir versus LF4, I got Fenrir. There's no shocker there. There's not as much as I believe in Thug. I can't believe that much. Then I have versus Monarch versus Valkyrie. I'm gonna actually have Monarch. Valk has just been so inconsistent, and I think Monarch has a real shot. Then Poseidon versus Freya. I have Poseidon. That's Poseidon, right?
Yes, that is Poseidon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many Greek god teams, bro. Then Redacted versus Sigma. I actually am going to take Sigma. I just believe in them to bring it back. I truly do.
Right.
Then Fenrir versus Lost. I have Paradise Lost. Fenrir got 4-0'd by them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
In stage 2, so I don't see that really changing. Then for Monarch versus Mechanized, yes, Mechanized. I always get Modified and Mechanized confused in my head. I'm gonna go.
Both on my Bard.
Yes, I know. Unfortunate for them. Modify or wait.
Mechanized?
I literally just can mech. Yes. The Discord team of bards.
Yes.
That's what I'll refer to them to now. Then Inferno Foxes versus Poseidon. I have Inferno Foxes. Like, no real surprise there. And then Jalapenos versus Sigma. I have Jalapenos.
All right, Paradise Lost versus Lotus. Who you got?
I am going to be spicy and go with Lotus.
Ooh.
Really?
I'm going to go with Lotus. I have faith. I have some faith.
All right.
Some faith.
Modify Mechanized Bard team versus SEAL Team Spuds. Who do you got?
Bard team versus SEAL Team Spuds. I got the Spuds. Yeti better than Bard confirmed.
Okay.
Hey, we gotta take the egos and just match them up against each other. Like, whenever you play Marsupial team, you're playing me incarnate.
That's true. Fair enough.
Then in front of Fox Domination, I actually have Domination. I still if they all show up, I think they win. If they don't, they probably won't. But I'm still gonna pick them because I think that for playoffs, that Dad will finally not get parent diffed. Hopefully. Then Jalapenos versus Excalibur. I think the Jalapenos are so inconsistent, and I really do think that Excalibur will finally kick into new gear. And Chief I trust. Shockingly, as I said at the beginning of Discord, I really do think most of the A-tier teams are just better. Actually, I guess I have all A-tier teams with the mixed championship bracket. But I have Spuds over Lotus. Then I have Domination over Excalibur.
All right, so Domination versus Mark III, Quokka Queens, Reminiscence, Steel Team Spuds, and Echo Fleet in a pretty darn loaded championship bracket. All right, Delphi, wrap up our Discord fun.
Alrighty. Fenrir and Alt F4. I Fenrir winning that one. I just think they're a better team overall, and honestly, I think they're pretty low in the seeding, in my opinion, based off of how they've been playing. Monarch and Valkyrie. This is actually a matchup we've seen before, and I believe it was a 2-1-1 in favor of Monarch. So I'm picking Monarch to win this one again. I think they're a little bit more consistent than Valkyrie, and we'll see another dub. Poseidon and Freya. I have Poseidon winning this one. I already showed some love to the Ragnarok org by giving Fenrir the win. I don't know if Freya necessarily is able to, has it in them to beat Poseidon here. And then Redacted and Sigma. I have Sigma moving on to the next round over Redacted.
All right. Fenrir versus Mark III. Who's coming on top?
I have Fenrir moving on again. Like I said, I think they're just a little bit lower than how they really should be. So they're going to be making a good run in this lower bracket.
All right. So Believer in Fenrir are we here? All right. Monarch versus Lotus.
I have Lotus moving on to the next win. I think like I said, I think the Monarch and the Valkyrie match is going to be close, and I think Lotus is just better than both of those teams, regardless of who moves up in that one.
Poseidon, Excalibur.
I have Poseidon moving on again. I think they're gonna take the momentum from the previous win and push forward.
All right, Sigma versus Domination.
Here I have Sigma continuing on as well.
Sigma
nice and
over
simple.
Domination. That's
Yeah,
definitely an upset.
I think it's definitely the upset. I think it's pretty much the only upset I have in here. One of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Take it
I guess
away.
I'll just move on. Cool. Fenrir Mechanize. I have Fenrir actually beating Mechanize here. I think Fenrir is a little bit more consistent, and I think Mechanize honestly a little bit overrated in my opinion, but we'll see. Paradise and Lotus. I have Paradise Lost moving on. I think that's kind of an obvious one there. Jalapenos and Poseidon. I have the Jalapenos beating them. Just I think Jalapeno is a little bit on a different tier than Poseidon here, and then Inferno and Sigma. I have Inferno winning that one.
All right, who are survivors here?
Top two. I'm going Paradise Lost as much as I'm rooting for Fenrir. I think Fenrir is a lot better than most of the other people in the losers bracket, but I think Paradise Lost is just one step above.
All right, Foxes and Jalapenos. Who do you got?
I think this is going to be a really close, interesting match if it happens, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I think it's going to be a very close Jalapenos.
Very close Jalapenos win. All right. There it is, folks. Jalapenos, Spuds, Quokka, and then Rem, Paradise Lost, Echo Fleet for Delphi. Little bit different than some of the others, but I'm about to hit you with the spice, y'all. Let's start it off here with Alt F4 versus Fenrir. And I am the biggest Thuggington fan in the world, but the biggest Thuggington fan in the world cannot stop Seb and Carlos and Prim, and it's just not going to happen. Monarch versus Valkyrie. Now, while I recognize Valkyrie finally has a little bit of roster consistency, they do not have Lunar Emerald. And we saw in that feature match against Fenrir how strong of a tank Lunar is, and I'm excited to see what what Monarch can do coming into the playoffs here. I think they're a bit of a spicy team coming into the playoffs. Freya versus Poseidon. I am going with Poseidon. I think picking against them is a bad move. I think Silent Wraith is going to bring that team up, and still have PM Doggy as well on that main tank. Redacted versus Sigma. I'm super high on Sigma. I have been all season. I was surprised they fell where they did. I still believe in that team. I got them over Redacted here. Fenrir versus Mark III. I think I'm going Mark III. Again, the longer they go with getting Terractin up to speed, I think that team is going to continue to get better and better. Monarch versus Mechanize. Again, I am super high on this team, and I will continue to be so. I think they beat Mechanize and take it in the next round of the lower bracket. Poseidon versus Inferno Foxes. As much as I just hyped up Silent Wraith and PM Doggy, Inferno Fox is just a little too good. Domination versus Reckless Sigma. It's going to be Domination here, but I think that match could go either way. Depends on which Domination shows up. Mark III versus Lotus. Yet again, these teams meet again, and I think that Mark III comes out on top this time around. Paradise Lost versus Monarch. I cannot go with the too spicy pick there. I think Paradise Lost shuts down Monarch's streak. Holy Jalapenos versus Inferno Foxes. I'm going Jalapenos. I think Jalapenos are well staged right now to set up for the playoffs. A lot of good experienced players there in these elimination situations. Domination versus Excalibur. I think Domination gets the dub over Excalibur here as well. Championship bracket. I bring you Paradise Lost going up into the championship bracket. And then from the other side, I bring you the Jalapenos. Oh, I just dragged up the people, but you know what? Fix it right. All right, so there's mine as well, guys. We're going to get to the Transcendence tier now and finally wrap up this lower bracket madness. Start us off, Booth.
All right, so first matchup we have is Battalion versus the Council of Anime Girls. I'm going to give Battalion the victory here. Definitely hasn't been Battalion that we saw last season, but I still think nonetheless they'll get the victory here. Then we have Doomsday versus the Whirlwind Wildcats, our featured match on Wednesday. I'm going to give it to Doomsday here. Just hasn't been the season for the Wildcats so far. Then we move on to the next round here. We have Skybox going against Atlas Arcadia. I went with Atlas Arcadia here. I think they will get the better of Skybox here. Just seem like more of the all-around team. We then have the SS Cuttlefish versus Battalion, and I'm going to give this one here to the SS Cuttlefish, although they had some roster mix-ups. Still a strong team. They've kept a lot of the players that I think have been the better players, so I think they'll get the victory there. We then have Manifest versus Shockwave. Went back and forth on this one quite a bit. I'm going to end up giving in this one here to Shockwave. I think they'll get the best of Manifest here. Coming off a bye week too, sometimes never always the best. I know I never preferred to come off a bye week. We'll see, though, if that ends up panning out that way. Then NYAA versus Doomsday. I'm going to give it to NYAA. To clean up here, a very strong 4 seed. Then we move on to the next round, Atlas Arcadia versus Corvidity. I've gone back and forth on this one about 3 times as I've been sitting here tonight, and I think I'm going to land on Atlas Arcadia there with, I guess, the minor upset. Not too big of a 6 over a 5, nothing too crazy, but I think they'll end up pulling the number here. It's tough to know which Corvidity is going to show up in any given week, especially the further we get into the playoffs. The further we get in, the further some people's lives. Maybe we get closer to holidays. There's you never know who's going to be able to show up in any given week. So I'll give this one to Atlas Arcadia. Then Bird Society Ibis versus the SS Cuttlefish. Easy pick here for me for the Bird Society Ibis to get the victory. I think just a stronger team overall. And then we get to the Devil Dukes versus Shockwave. I'm definitely going to go with the Devil Dukes here. And then I'm going to have, this is a very tough matchup. We have NYAA versus Amnesia. And I've gone back and forth again on this one. There's been a lot of these here, especially in the lower bracket for the Transcendence tier. At the end of the day here, I'm actually going to give this one to Not Your Average Academy. Actually, in my graphic I wrote down for everything on my own bracket, I've gone back and forth so much. I think I even had Amnesia winning this originally, but I think I'm going to change it now. just the more I've been looking at the past records for the teams, NYA's done well in the playoffs in the past year, and I think they're going to continue to keep doing that. They've knocked down how many big teams in their 2 seasons with us so far in Tranquility. And although Amnesia might not be the biggest giant, I think Amnesia and NYA are probably 2 of the teams that have the best chance at putting a chink in some of the armor of the better teams we have up in the upper bracket once it gets close to the championship side. So with that being said, I'm not going to have to beat the Devil Dukes. I'm going to have the Devil Dukes taking the victory there and moving up to the championship bracket. Just too strong of a team. It really comes down to it. In my eyes, and then Bird Society Ibis versus Corvidity. I'm going to give it to Bird Society Ibis in the victory. And really, I think that kind of gives us the best 6 teams in the Transcendence tier. Before the playoffs even would have started, I probably would have said maybe these 6 teams. And especially after stage 2, I'm going to stick with that again.
All right, so BSI and Devil Dukes moving on up. Bowsy, you're up.
All right, Battalion versus Council of Anime Girls. I also have Battalion winning this. Coag, I know their Twitter. I've seen their Twitter. They obviously are not going to be taking this match as seriously, so I think Battalion's going to win that. Next up, Doomsday versus Whirlwind Wildcats. Excuse me. I think Doomsday is going to be winning that match as well. Whirlwind Wildcats has kind of looked inconsistent all season. Moving up to the next match, Skybox versus Atlas Arcadia. I think Atlas Arcadia is going to win this. I know Skybox did go 3-0 in the lower bracket, but I still think Atlas Arcadia has a high chance of winning this match. Next up is Battalion versus SS Cuttlefish, and I chose SS Cuttlefish to win this match. You said it. We said it yourselves. Obviously, the parts that they lost are big, but also the parts that they still have are pretty big. So we'll see if Cuttlefish are able to bring that back. Next up is Manifest versus Shockwave, and I have Manifest winning this match. I think they're just more consistent, and Shockwave are coming off of a 0-3 stage number 2, so it's kind of hard to justify them right now. Next up, Doomsday versus Not Your Average Academy. I'm also picking Not Your Average Academy. I think they are a really good team, and they can take down Giants any given day. So I'm giving that to Not Your Average Academy. Next up, Atlas Arcadia versus Corvidity. I am giving this to Atlas Arcadia. I think Atlas Arcadia are more consistent than Corvidity, and I think they're going to make a really good lower bracket run here. So give that to Arcadia. Next up, SS Cuttlefish versus Bird Society Ibis. I'm also giving this to Ibis. I think they are more consistent. And Cuttlefish, that stage 1 does not spark a lot of hope for me, right? Or that stage 2, excuse me, does not spark a lot of hope for me for the Cuttlefish. So, yeah. Moving on from that, Manifest versus Devil Dukes. I have the Devil Dukes winning. Devil Dukes are still a pretty good championship caliber team, and I think they're going to be taking this victory. And next up is Not Your Average Academy versus Amnesia. And as much as I love Not Your Average Academy, as much as I've expressed how much I like them, and as much as I predicted them to win against Amnesia in stage number 2, I have Amnesia winning this, unfortunately. Amnesia, I think, are going to be coming off of a good reform, and I think they're going to be able to beat Not Your Average Academy. Let me make it clear, NYAA reverse swept Amnesia. I think Amnesia is going to prevent that this time.
All right, who survives?
The 2 survivors I have, first off, Bird Society Ibis. I feel like they're going to beat Atlas Arcadia. I think they're just better, honestly. And Devil Dukes versus Amnesia, I would be a fool to not pick Devil Dukes. I think they are a really good front runner right now.
All right. And let's get it off to Navino now. Navino, start us off. Battalion, Coag.
I've been quiet for so long.
It's hard for you, I know. No.
I know.
I feel you, bro.
Okay, I got as much as I love the Coag energy, the Coag hype train, I'm going with Battalion. Mostly because I just think, I don't understand what's up with Coag because they have some really talented players, but I've lost all faith, all faith. Then there's not as many matchups to predict. Doomsday versus Whirlwind. I have Doomsday. Then for Skybox versus Atlas Arcadia, I don't think Skybox gets a tournament win. Unfortunate. I guess they kind of got one.
They have 3 from the last stage, good sir.
Okay, I meant playoff tournament win. That's
Okay.
what I meant, like knockout win. And I am proud of them. They did win some games. I'm proud of them. Then Battalion versus Cuttlefish. Even with the roster issues, I have Cuttlefish. I just think that they still have some good pieces left, and Battalion without Vet, I kind of doubt Battalion's potential because they're right, they did take Godhand 3-2, but I was with Vet, and now Vet's not on the team, and we all know how Vet shows up in playoffs. Just look at Aphelion versus Joey last season Discord tier, right? And then Manifest versus Amnesia. I have Amnesia. I think you're dumb if you don't pick Amnesia there. Then for Doomsday versus Nia, I'm picking Nia again. Doomsday's just so unproven, and I could see an upset, but they didn't beat everyone in their own group, so they didn't the elimination.
It's tough to predict Doomsday pulling off any upsets.
It is, but they did look better than Hal. I'll give them that.
Yes.
Did Hal win a map? Is the real question. Did they?
Hal
No,
never won
they
a
did
map.
not.
Then Atlas Arcadia versus Corvidity. I'm going Corvidity, actually. I think that they will bring it back and do pretty well. Then Cuttlefish versus Dirt. I have Dirt. This is where we come back into roster issues. Maybe Cuttlefish have it figured out by then, but I think Dirt is just too consistent of a team to lose to Cuttlefish like that. Then Amnesia versus Devil Dukes. I'm picking my boy. My boys, Devil Dukes. My boys in Quirt. Then for Shockwave versus Nia, I am actually going to pick Nia because I think Shockwave will have lost their magic by this time. I have them getting an upset win, but then past that, it's eh. Then Corvidity versus Dirt. I actually have Corvidity because Corvidity literally did beat Dirt. Literally. And so I think Corvidity does it again and makes a champ bracket.
All right. Then who's taking on Bird Society? Dukes or Nia?
I'm going to go Dukes. My own bias showing as well as they did play each other in the upper bracket, and I do have Dukes winning that. So I do not think Nia changes it up enough to then beat them later.
All right. Delphi wraps up in the trans tier. Who you got?
All right, Skybox versus Celestial win. I'm just kidding. Battalion and Coag. I have Battalion winning this one. Everybody, I think, would love to see a Coag win, but I think they're a little busy putting gifts in trans discussions. So I think Battalion will just show up for that one and come on top. Then I have Doomsday and Whirlwind Wildcats. I have Doomsday beating Whirlwind there. I think in the beginning of the season, Whirlwind was looking like a good team to watch, but kind of not necessarily anymore. Now we have Skybox and Atlas Arcadia. I have Skybox moving forward on this one. I think Skybox is a really pretty good chance in the bottom bracket here. So Battalion and SS Cuttlefish. I have this as the upset and going to Battalion. Battalion, I think they had a weird regular season going on. A lot of weird things happen. Cuttlefish has the roster issues that everybody keeps talking about. And I think Battalion in playoff time is going to be able to turn it around and kind of focus a little bit more on actual gameplay and consistency. So I think Battalion will be able to win that. Manifest and Shockwave. I haven't played Manifest. I did play Shockwave. Shockwave's a pretty decent opponent. I think they're just gonna kind of roll Manifest in my opinion. And then I have Doomsday and Devil Dukes, which on my sheet I wrote DD for both of them, which is kind of funny. But I have Devil Dukes beating Doomsday. Another team I played. I think Devil Dukes is a respectable opponent, so I think they beat Doomsday there. Alrighty, Skybox and Corvidity. I have Skybox's Reign of Terror ending here with Corvidity taking the dub. Battalion and Dirt. Like I said, I think Battalion is scary when it comes to playoff time. I think they're going to get their stuff together, but I don't know if they can beat Dirt, so I'm going with Dirt for this one. Even though they did, lose 2-3 to GDH, as Pro Gamer likes to remind everybody.
Shockwave versus Nia. Who do you got?
Shockwave versus Nya. I have Shockwave moving forward on that one as well. It's kind of a bit of an upset, I guess, but I think they can kind of pull it together. Then Devil Dukes and Amnesia. I've screamed Amnesia. I played against Devil Dukes. I think Amnesia, even though our match against Devil Dukes was a kind of tight, I think that was just nerves from all the talk beforehand. I think Amnesia just takes it kind of easily, in my opinion.
You just said that to get a rise out of Navino. Anyways, Corvidity versus Dirt. Who do you got?
I have Corvidity winning this one. A bit of an upset, but I think that the Corvidity kind of has the wind of their back and they can do it.
All right, and I'm sorry, Shockwave Amnesia. Who comes out on top?
This one's kind of an easy Amnesia, in my opinion, and not much really to talk about there.
Bit of a spicy bracket here, Delphi. You got
little bit.
Amnesia, BSI, Decaps, Alpha, Corvidity, and GDH in that championship bracket. All right, I'm going to wrap up Trans Tier now here, guys. We have Battalion versus Coag. I think it's going to be a hashtag Coag L, and maybe Trans Tier discussion calms down for just a freaking moment. Doomsday versus Whirlwind Wildcats. I am on that Doomsday hype wagon till I die right now. Hashtag Coag L in the chat, everybody. Skybox versus our Atlas Arcadia. Everybody knows I'm the #1 Skybox fan, and this trend does not die here. I am riding that Skybox bandwagon. You have Battalion versus Corvidity. I think I'm going to go Battalion. Same reason as you highlighted, Delphi. I think playoff Battalion will be a little bit more dangerous, and it's hard to argue with that DPS line on that team as well. Looking at Manifest versus Shockwave, I'm going Shockwave. Shockwave tough stage 2, but I think they're set for a good playoff run here. Then you have Doomsday versus NYAA, and I think it's Doom for Doomsday as NYAA is going to take that one. Then you got Skybox versus the SS Cuttlefish, and again, who is my favorite team in the Transcendence tier? That's right, it's this team known as Skybox. I am riding that Skybox bandwagon over the SS Cuttlefish, taking this one as well. Let's go Battalion versus Bird Society Ibis. I think the Battalion run ends here. Bird Society takes them down. And we have Shockwave versus Devil Dukes. I think Devil Dukes come out on the other side of this one with a victory. And NYA versus Amnesia. I'm also going with NYAA over Amnesia here. We just saw them beat.
Spicy.
We just saw them beat Amnesia. We just saw it. Very easily could happen again. Too much inconsistency on the front line for Amnesia, in my opinion. Very, very strong team overall for NYAA, and they just got better. So, all right. All right, then you have, who comes out on top here? Skybox versus Bird Society Ibis. Now, I am a big believer of Bird Society Ibis. I have highlighted this on many occasions. But who's my favorite team in Transcendence tier? That's right, it's Skybox. The Skybox run is going to continue to the championship bracket. Everybody, that's right.
This is some real hopium right here.
This is not hopium. This is not
This is some real
hopium.
hopium.
This is not hopium. I'm just predicting the future correctly.
Maybe some copium as well.
This is the correct pick.
I think the Yeti fan club just grew by a few more members.
No, at least 6 from Skybox, but I think I lost some other fans. I am apparently smocking cocaine. And you all may call it hopium, but a lot of you who are saying that are the teams I predicted to lose. So maybe more what it is a little bit of that salt, and I'm just sprinkling that down on you. I mean,
I'm not calling it.
Gloves are off.
That's just what I'm saying. I'm just saying, man. If y'all are gonna be salty, that's great. But in the end, I really only have one thing to say. Deal with it. All right, Transcendence tier. Then let's continue with the last match here to predict who goes to the finals. NYAA over Devil Dukes. I have NYAA over Devil Dukes here. I am a Lazuli _Overwatch fan. I have mentioned this on many occasions. I still believe in the man. I also really just wanted to get a rise out of Vino.
I feel bullied and targeted.
You're making
It's
me
not
feel
you, it's-
unsafe.
It's not you, it's the team.
All right.
Hey, we got rid of the problem. All right.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right.
Most of the problem.
There's the end of your lower brackets, guys. We have the championship brackets coming up right around the corner. Tell your friends, guys. It's been a long cast, but we're getting to the peak, the pinnacle of the cast here in just a couple minutes, guys. It's been a long one, 2 hours and 12 minutes in, and I don't know about you guys. The championship brackets right on the corner, but let's get to the comms check now. Brought to you by Bisque this week. So get it going.
Bone. It's not bone hurting juice. It's bone density juice. No soy.
Bone
soy milk.
empowering.
Yeah, we're not gonna be soy boy. We're gonna be
The big bone boys.
Strong milk.
real milk. Whole milk.
Strong real milk drinkers.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Alright, good push, actually.
I actually did pretty good on Hog Guys.
Hug.
Is it Kiddo's turn now?
Yeah, my turn. You better beat 75% hook accuracy, kiddo.
I believe in him.
I prefer like 0.
Dengu break, so Widow, just be more cautious. Just be more cautious. They still have the Widow though. What?
Okay, when they attack on Hanamura, their Sombra puts the Translocator in the pagoda, in between first and second. Just so you know.
It's a pagoda!
Okay,
There's
hey,
a room in between first and second.
yeah, you know, there's like that.
don't know anything.
Honestly, I'm happy. We won Hanamura. I don't even care for this anymore. Dude, look at my
Got him go. They're lining up.
Look at the horse, bro.
Look, how does he get
Like Bisque said, submit more comm checks. We need more. It's been lacking lately, and I am disappointed. But you guys can bring it back here. Submit more comms checks. All right, guys. Again, I hope you tell your friends we are about to predict that championship bracket, and we're going to kick it off in the Harmony tier. Booth, break it down for us. Let's go.
All right. Well, there's going to be tons of upsets here. You can't see me winking. No. I promised I did. So my first matchup, Sky Guardians versus Vanguard Esports. And I'm going to have Vanguard winning this one over the Sky Guardians. Got to be the believer now. Apparently, I believe in them. Oh, all right, let's see. Sweet corn.
Doesn't smell good.
That is
apparently,
so
is the
weird.
action.
It tastes exactly like sweet corn. It's actually frightening.
So it's just like carbonated sweet corn?
It's like carbonated corn juice. It's a lot.
Yeah. Oh god.
It's a
I mean,
lot.
technically, most soda has corn syrup anyway.
I tell you, the state of Iowa would love this.
I think someone just got like that E95 fuel and just like pumped it into a glass bottle for you. We're like, here you go, drink this.
It's just weird. It's definitely one of those things that I could see myself enjoying if I really liked corn. Anyways, holy crap. Anyways,
Nothing like carbonated ethanol.
Booth,
Yeah.
Vanguard, Sky Guardians. Who'd you have?
I had Vanguard winning that one over the Sky Guardians. Apparently, I believe in them more than their GM does, so that's a good sign. Bluth believes in everyone. That's a good hashtag. I like that. I'm going to use that later.
Believes in all of you.
Bluth believes in all of you. Well, most of you. Some of you have lost many long ago. Then we have Chrysalis going up against the Koala Kings. And I'm going to give it here to the Koala Kings. I feel like whenever I've watched the Chrysalis play, there's been like something where I've just gone like, oh my, if only a team wasn't doing this, or if the only team was running this back. And I feel like the Koala Kings just, if they have the right tools available for them that day, so someone that's unnamed, then I feel like they'll be able to pull basically anybody's number that they need.
I'm not on the team anymore. You know that anymore, right?
Do I what?
I'm not on the team anymore. You know that, right?
Yeah, I think coaching resources and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was like, when you said do not be named, I was like, are you referring to me when I'm not on the team?
They weren't named, so you don't know if I was talking
Okay.
about you, right?
He was talking about
fair.
Voldemort. Duh.
I mean, fair.
Oh, you said the name now.
Great, now you're ruining it.
I tried so hard to go around it. Okay, but then we have the Miami Yikes going up against Vanguard. I'm going to give this one to the Miami Yikes. I really think that they're one of the top teams that we have here in the Harmony tier. It would be one heck of a turnaround to see the Yikes go up to the championship grand finals after here in season 7. That'd be one cool story arc. I definitely didn't pay Cav to write that one into the script for this season. And then we have Flashbacks going up against the Koala Kings. I'm going to give this one to the Flashbacks. I don't really know if I have to give tons of reasons why I've been a Flashbacks fan for a while. They've just been so dominant this season. How many we've talked about their map differential and their win ratio so far, and then I'm gonna have the Flashbacks continue it on and be the champions for the Harmony tier. Until they show me a reason not to pick the Flashbacks. When you have me on here, hopefully in season 8, if the world doesn't cave in by then with the release of Overwatch 2, I'm gonna be putting Flashbacks probably at the top of my Harmony tier bracket then too, until they have a reason to prove me wrong.
All right, there's your first predicted champion, Flashbacks, in the Harmony tier by Booth. Bowsy, you're up. Who do you got? Yikes versus Chrysalis.
For Yikes versus Chrysalis, I have chosen Chrysalis here. I think they just have a lot more star power than Miami Yikes, unfortunately. So I think Chrysalis is going to win it. It will be close, however, because Chrysalis has shown to be really close with some of the top teams apart from Flashbacks. So I think it's going to be a close match. Second championship match, Vanguard Spartans versus Koala Kings. To almost nobody's surprise, I have Koala Kings winning this. Koala Kings has looked strong all season. They have had some hiccups here and there, but I think overall they are a better team than Vanguard right now. Vanguard are just they were good in stage 2, but you have to go up against a top dog and beat a top dog in order to get something in my book. Next up, Chrysalis versus Sky Guardians. So if you remember, the first match of stage number 1 for Harmony tier was against these two teams, Chrysalis versus Sky Guardians. Chrysalis ended up getting the reverse sweep. Here, I think Sky Guardians is going to get their revenge over Chrysalis after a long, long season. Sky Guardians just look a little more, they just look better than Chrysalis in terms of a long run. I believe in the Sky Guardian supremacy, and I think they're going to be beating Chrysalis there. Head on over to the other side, the 4th championship match between Flashbacks and Koala Kings. I sadly have to say Flashbacks here. Koala Kings are good, but nobody's beaten the Flashbacks. I do think this will be a close match, though, because both of these teams have shown to be dominant all season, but I do think Flashbacks will come out on top.
I'm sorry, can I get your first one, Chrysalis Sky Guardians matchup again?
Guardians.
Thank you.
And in my grand finals, Sky Guardians versus Flashbacks. And while I did say Flashbacks win the championship, I think it is going to be a really close match because Sky Guardians have proven they can wrestle with the top dog. So take Flashbacks win the championship with a grain of salt for me.
I will. The grain of salt has been taken. Flashbacks, though, winning the championship here. Navino, save us from a nostalgia supremacy.
Y'all, it was last season. The nostalgia supremacy will come to an end. Chrysalis or Sky Guardians? I have Chrysalis winning. Sky Guardians just aren't good without Pasty at their main tank. I'll be honest. Pasty, let them play ball. Unless they get like a ball one trick or something that can actually allow them to play to that level, that is the big reason why they upset Koala in the first place. I don't see them doing it. I haven't made a championship bracket just because of Milo. But like Milo and who's the other DPS?
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Or I don't know.
Yeah. It's 2 O's. Like
that's what I'm saying.
And then Palm Beach versus Yikes. I have the Yikes beating Palm Beach.
The two brother-sister teams take each other on. You got the Yikes. All right.
Wait, what do you mean brother-sister teams? I'm confused. What?
They're in the same org.
Yikes and Palm Beach?
You didn't know that?
Yes. You never
Oh.
realized
Miami
that? They're both
Yikes.
Florida teams.
Palm
Bro,
Beach
first off, First off,
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
that went over my head. That's not
Thank
saying much though. I'm sorry. That's like
to give you an idea though of like what goes over my head. We had a team in GGNA when I was lead admin, like for the first season as lead admin, that was #town until the playoffs when we streamed them, and they told us it actually was pronounced Pound Town. Did not get that till then.
Oh.
So
right. I got that one right when you said it at least. So I'll give myself a little bit of something.
Yeah, so oh yeah, what is the org even called? I'm so confused.
Who knows?
I mean, it's not as obvious as like a potato org or anything weird like that, so I get it.
Or even the marsupial org, like it's all marsupials. Anyway, no one wants a Pensacola team. Pensacola is like the butt Florida.
No.
So,
Go to Orlando first.
Like I really need. Like I'm just gonna take like Koala full held them on two of the three like non-control maps. And I don't think that changes. And I think Koala is better because we beat them with me on DPS still. Like, I just don't think they're able to compete still. Like, and also just watching their gameplay, I don't think they figured out the issues that make them as like weak as they are at points. So Koala over Chrysalis. Then Miami Yikes just flashbacks. I feel like if any season flashbacks are going to make the championship, it's this season. You know, like as good as I thought Yikes was, you know, I gotta take flashbacks. And so, you know, shockingly enough, I've never won versus number one. And I go back to like, you know, unlike like last season, Koala and Flashbacks played each other like 3 or 4 times. And so like everyone had justification saying Koala would never beat Flashbacks because we lost every single time, except when it mattered. And I'm going back to that hopium. Also, I know they won in season 5. I'm talking about since I've been around. If there's good, I'm gonna pick Koala to win it all. Shocking, right? Shocking. I just gotta have faith in the boys and V, and then and I think they can. I think Koala really can repeat this season, and I wouldn't have left if I didn't think they could do it without me. Anyway.
The hopium is real for Navino Delphi.
I don't want to hear nothing about hopium with you, Mr. Skybox. Nothing about
hopium. Hey, whoa. I'll have you know. I have nothing to say, actually.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Fair enough. All right, Delphi, give us your championship bracket.
I am going JPC Chrysalis. I'm picking Chrysalis for this one. Just the higher tier seed, higher seed team. I think they're there for a reason. So, then we have Palm Beach Poggers versus the Miami Yikes. Apparently sister teams. You know, just in. I'm picking the Yikes for this one. I think the Palm Beach Poggers have been a pretty consistent team, but Miami Yikes, I just think they're, you know, gonna edge it out a little bit. It's gonna be close though. Now we have Chrysalis and Koala Kings. I think this one's a little bit obvious. I think Koala Kings is just on a little bit of a higher level than Chrysalis. I think they're like Chrysalis is I think Chrysalis is probably like A tier, like A+ tier, and Koala Kings is up in the S tier. So same with the flashbacks versus the Miami Yikes. Miami Yikes just not on the same level as Flashbacks, so I have Flashbacks winning that one.
I'm sorry, what was your first round?
Koala Kings, and then Flashbacks in the finals.
The Yeti too busy typing in Twitch chat.
I'm too busy ripping Tom Joe jingle over here. So go ahead, Delphi. Pick your finals.
The finals, I think a little obvious here. I think Flashback ends up taking it. It's gonna be a really good match, and honestly, it could probably go either way. But Flashback's just proving superior pretty much throughout the entire season. So.
All right, you guys in your boring finals. Give me a break here. All right.
Sorry.
Jersey Boys versus Koala Kings. Now, there's a story to tell here, isn't there, Navino? Jersey Boys versus Koala Kings. All the chips are in the favor of Koala Kings like normal. I'm going with Koala Kings winning this one. I think history won't repeat itself on this one. Vanguard versus Vanguard versus Sky Guardians. I think that this is the Vanguard time. I think Vanguard comes through and wins this one. Miami Yikes versus Vanguard, though. I have this one going to the Yikes. I think we are taking it to the Keys. I think Miami is Stonky and Virgo, and I think they will shine here in this matchup up against Vanguard. Then we have Flashbacks versus Koala Kings. A bunch of you guys predicted them as your finals matchup. I can respect that. I did not. Flashbacks versus Koala Kings. I think this one goes to the Flashbacks. Championship, Miami Yikes versus the Flashbacks. All I gotta say is taking it after my guy Will Smith. We're going to Miami. I think that was his rap. I think that was his. We're
That's a good guess.
We're going to Miami.
Hot take.
Miami Yikes. The Stonky and Virgo show will pull it off and take the grand finals over Flashbacks. That's right. Some might call it spicy. Some might call it hopium.
I would definitely call this hopium.
You know, maybe it is. Maybe I just got tired of seeing all you idiots picking Jetpack or Koala Kings and Flashbacks over and over again. So
I also picked.
I did it.
Excuse me, I had the same.
To my credit, I did not put Koala Kings in the finals.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, Booth, Discord tier elimination or championship bracket. Who do you got?
All right. So our first matchup, we have
reminder,
domination.
by the way, giveaway drawing is coming up here at the end. We've already drawn the winner. So if you are getting a given giveaways, you'll be going into next week's giveaway. So, all right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, very good. I'm happy. I forgot to mention that too. I always make sure you get your giveaways in for next week. We have Domination versus the SEAL Team Spuds. I'm going to give this one to the Spuds. Even if Domination's there in full strength, I think the Spuds are just a scary team and will come out on top. Then we get down to Paradise Lost versus Quokka. I'm going to give this to Quokka. I think Paradise has had a great run so far, especially in Stage 2, but I don't think they match up with our other 4 remaining teams realistically as well. And I think these 4 are kind of above the others. Then our first finalist, this was a tough one. I ended up going with Echo Fleet. I went back and forth a lot. I think the Spuds, which I know everyone says like their favorite logos are like what SS or Skybox or Palm Beach, but my favorite logo since they've been introduced is the SEAL Team Spuds. It's the greatest logo, but it wasn't enough in this bout here for me. I'm going to give Echo Fleet the edge here. And then to just keep everything as spicy as can be, I'm going to make it a 1v1 in the grand finals there. I have Reminiscence. Goodness, thank you. Taking the victory there over Quokka. I think it's going to be one heck of a match. I'm going to be so excited if we get to see that match again, especially in a match with so much on the line as that. And then just to keep with the nostalgia or dominance, I'm going to have to give it to Reminiscence to end up coming out on top here. But realistically, I think all 4 of those top teams probably have as close to an equal shot as we're going to have in any of our final 4 in any of our 3 tiers. I'm giving Rem the edge here, but I'm going to in the most way I could push off as much I don't know, as much guilt if I get this wrong. I wouldn't be surprised with any one of those 4 teams going through there. I think they all have fantastic odds, but I'm just going to give it to Rem.
All right. Bowsy, go ahead.
All right, so starting off with Inferno Foxes versus Paradise Lost. I gave this to Paradise Lost. I think they have a high chance of making a huge playoff run. Moving on to the second round, which is SEAL Team Spuds versus Echo Fleet. And this is sort of challenging, but I think SEAL Team Spuds have the ability to defeat Echo Fleet. Echo Fleet has been a good team, but I think SEAL Team Spuds, if anybody, is going to defeat Echo Fleet. So I'm giving it to SEAL Team. Moving on to the third championship match, which is Paradise Lost versus Quokka Queens. You guys like upsets? Because I like upsets. Paradise Lost, I think, is going to be beating Quokka Queens in that match in a close-knitted battle between them. I think Navito's ego is going to be too high from winning all these rest of these matches, and Paradise Lost is going to be taking advantage of it. Sorry, Navino. I know you're right there.
It's all right.
It's pick on DeVito night, apparently.
I mean, I know, bro. You should listen to the Marsupio voice comms.
You know what? You rip them when they're on top. That's just the way to look at it, right?
Yep.
So.
Speaking of on top, championship for the fourth match, Reminiscence versus SEAL Team Spuds. I have this one going to Reminiscence. They've looked dominant even against the Spuds, and I think the Spuds will bring it close, but I think Rem will close it out in the end. And the final match, Paradise Lost versus Reminiscence. I have to go for Nostalgia Org's supremacy, unfortunately. Reminiscence is winning the championship, bringing 2 championships to the Nostalgia Org this season.
All right, DeVito, take it away.
Well, my first game, Domination versus Mark III. I'm gonna take Domination. I'm off the Mark III hype train now.
All right, that didn't take long.
What do you mean? I had them winning like 3 games. I guess I did have them losing the Rem, but they made the championship bracket. Then Spuds versus Echo Fleet. I take Echo Fleet. I think the top 3 teams of Echo Fleet, Rem, and Quokka are just a step above everyone else. And it's as good as Spuds has looked this season. They just have inconsistent moments. And when I watched that game versus Rem, it just made me yeah. So yeah, I have Echo Fleet over the Spuds.
All right. Domination versus Quokka. Who do you got?
We beat them once before. I think we'll beat them again. They got the first real dose of the Navino main tank and lost. So I'm gonna go with that again. Shocking. Then Rem versus Echo Fleet. So as fun as it would be for me to have Nostalgia Org there playing us again for our championship, I have Rem losing to Echo Fleet. And the big reason why is a large reason why I think Rem lost to Quokka the first time is because of the flexibility of the roster. And Rem had one set game plan and kind of stuck to it. And I think their lack of being able to change plans and also, frankly, lack of a second star DPS, in my opinion, hurts them. And I think if Yoon is on their game with what's their face? With Nona
Miko.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna have Echo Fleet taking this win in an upset.
Right. So Echo Fleet versus Quokka. Who do you got?
So now that we've played and I'm there, and I've watched this game a lot, I have to protect my own org. I feel like at this point, especially with the team I'm on, I'm here. I'm gonna have Quokka winning. Very close though, very close. And yes, I did just do Seraphim concept like that.
Wow.
I mean,
wow. So you come in with a double marsupial org, or sorry, I put Rem there on accident. You come in with a double marsupial org win, huh?
I mean, we did it last season. We can do it again.
You know what? Honestly, he's got a fair point, y'all. Y'all call it bias, but I just call it history. So
Joey and Koala won last season, and honestly, the odds were stacked worse against Koala last season than they were this season.
That's true.
Yeah, very true.
All right.
We had to beat a lot of good teams to get to the championship then.
Delphi, what do you got?
Jalapenos and Spuds. I gotta pick my favorite plant and go with the Spuds here. A little bit of a bias, but also a little bit of the fact that Spuds are just, I think, a really, really good team, and I think they're kind of underrated a little bit. I think they're given a little bit lower of a rating than they probably deserve. Paradise Lost and Echo Fleet. I gotta go with Echo on that one. I think it just makes the most sense in that matchup. Then Spuds and Quokka Queen. I'm going with Spuds again. Kind of same reason. Also, I'd love to see Spuds in the finals. I think they're a really deserving team, not only just from mechanics but also personality as well. They're really positive. So, Rem and Echo Fleet. As much as I'd hate to see another team owned by Capital in a finals, I'm going with Rem to take it to the Spuds. And I hate doing it, but I think Rem's going to come on top on it. They're kind of just a really crack team, and I think Spuds are really good. I think they'll pull it really close, but Rem's just on another level.
All right. Let's get to the correct Discord tier predictions now. Holy Jalapenos.
Yeti did have a near perfect bracket last season.
It's true. I did, and people made fun of me for it then. And all I gotta say is also, I'm just gonna quickly point this out, because I'm going back to the main screen for this. It's because everybody has a habit of being like, "Oh, what does Yeti know? What does Yeti? Yeti talks on these podcasts all the time, makes predictions, statements about teams." There's nobody else who held a candle to me in predictions all season. I'm just saying, like, you could talk about me, but until I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. That's basically what it boils down to. And that's going to be clipped and held against me and probably some random tweet longer by somebody in the future, I'm sure. But, like, it's just...
I think me arming you with statistics might have... This is
you've armed me with statistics, but all I gotta say is
the statistics don't lie.
The statistics don't lie. When you're right, you're right. So, anyways, let's get to the right bracket here. Spuds versus Jalapenos. Spuds lost to Jalapenos in the preseason tournament. I think Spuds get the better end after a full season of polar coaching. I think they come out on the positive here. But, I mean, don't underestimate Jalapenos. They got needle coaching. That's a good team. Paradise Lost versus Quokka Queens. This is not to get a rise out of anybody. This is just legitimately how I feel about how good Paradise Lost is. I think they're a very good team, and I think they're capable of beating a team like Quokka to get to this point. You got you got Seal T Spuds versus Echo Fleet, and I'm as big of a homer as they come, so I am picking Echo Fleet. Just to avoid that stigma of being the ultimate potato fan, because I am a potato fan, but I can't just pick my guys. I just can't. Rem versus Paradise Lost. Again, I said it before and I'm saying it again. Paradise Lost is the most dangerous team in this tournament, and I'm picking Paradise Lost to beat Reminiscence to go to the finals. So you got Paradise Lost versus Echo Fleet, and I am a firm believer in the blessing of one Minecraft Steve, and the honeymoon for Miko and Yoon is set in the championship, and I think it's going to be a good one. And Miko and Yoon and the rest of Echo Fleet take the championship in the Discord tier. All right, let's get to the Transcendence tier and wrap up the night.
Yeah, so I can eat food.
Yeah, we can finally be done. Booth, start us off.
All right, so first matchup here, we've got Bird Society versus Dirt, which this is a tough one here. I'm gonna give it to Bird Society actually. Dirt's had an interesting route to the number 2 seed. I think that I mean playoff Dirt is very good. I do in fact enjoy Dirt. I don't know if I like Dirt, but I enjoy Dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ibis could really surprise a lot of people here. And then we get to the Devil Dukes versus...
Just to clarify, did you pick Dirt or Ibis there?
I picked Ibis there.
Okay, sorry, there was some confusion.
No, I do that a lot where I'll say one thing and then immediately start talking about the other team. And it's in no way confusing. That's why we didn't make my whole show, where that way I have to preset the graphics, and then it's not as confusing to other people. Which, by the way, I have to point out, this is fantastic to watch somebody else run the graphics while predicting things.
I hate all of
this. This is a dream come true.
I'm going to get carpal tunnel from this thing, I swear to God. Right.
Then we have the Devil Dukes versus the Decapitators, and I am going to give this one to the Taters. Think they'll stay on top. They have the record to show that. Then we get to Ibis versus Godhand. Probably not going to be too much surprise with my pick there. Going to go with Godhand. I think they're still the team to beat coming off of last season, and then I'm going to have them going up against Alpha at the end of the day. I think I almost picked ones for everything besides the yikes in my Harmony tier. 5-1 seeds going all the way. And actually winning this one, I'm going to go with Godhand. I think they're by far definitely the two best teams. I think the three best teams with the Decapitators there make it into the championships. And then Ibis having a good play to make it to that Final Four. But I think really Godhand and Alpha are the two teams there, and I think Godhand comes out on top in that matchup now, and has a great chance to repeat as they did last year.
I just have to go to the main scene really quick. I got through my fourth one today, and I just wanted to... It was because I was feeling victorious after my little rant there, so I got into the pumpkin pie. And I gotta say, as much as I talked about it on Twitter, it's better than that somehow. So it's...
Hey.
I'm a happy man to end on that, and that is definitely the
deserved.
Definitely the calorie bomb that I'm fine consuming tonight.
I voted for it every week. I needed you to have it.
Honestly, same.
Bowsy, go ahead.
All right, starting off with the first championship match, Devil Dukes versus Dirt. I have to be in favor of the Devil Dukes here. They look stronger than Dirt, and although Dirt playoffs do look scary, I don't think that they have the power to take on the Devil Dukes. Next up, Bird Society Ibis versus the Decapitators. I'm 99% sure the Decapitators are better than Bird Society Ibis, and they will be taking the victory. There's just way too much talent on Decap compared to Bird Society, so I'm giving that to the Decapitators.
Hey, Duke's got it.
Match number 3, Devil Dukes versus Godhand. I am giving to Godhand. Devil Dukes have Devil Dukes played Godhand? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we got 4-0.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I think Godhand is a force to be reckoned with, and Devil Dukes, they might be able to take a map, but I don't think they're going to get any farther than that. Moving on to the 4th championship match, Alpha versus Decapitators. Surprise, surprise, I chose Decapitators.
I like it.
Yeah, and for the reason is
that was just so nonchalant. Like what?
Decapitators.
I was expecting people to be surprised, but I guess
I was surprised by not talking. That was just like I was waiting for you to be like, "Haha, JK, no Alpha."
No, yeah, I'm not kidding. I actually chose Decapitators here because what's more scary than what's the scariest thing you could do when you come playoffs? When you're the undefeated team without a loss. Alpha's going to be coming into this playoffs, the undefeated team without losing a map. Last thing they want to go up against is a strong team like Decapitators. So I think Decapitators is going to beat Alpha. Close match, but I think the reign ends. And finally, my grand finals, Godhand versus Decapitators. And it's not because Delphi over here Venmoed me $100 to say this.
I wish I had $100 to Venmo you.
I pick the Decapitators to win the championship over the Godhand.
I'll take that as a dub, like without even playing any other matches. Let's go.
And just like that, the Decapitators are out of the tournament.
Because this is the first time that Delphi's been ever on a team predicted to win something. So that's
true.
That is just the truth right there. The Vito, give us the champ bracket.
So, Dukes versus Ibis. I gotta pick my Dukes here. I just think even with like our own little issues, like Ibis just been too inconsistent. Corvidity versus Decap. Honestly, if you had told me that Corvidity would even make a championship bracket based on like how actually when Devil Dukes played them in stage 1, I would not believe you. So I have Decap though. But props to Corvidity for just making it this far in general, to be honest. Then for Dukes versus Godhand, my bias can only go so far. I have Godhand winning. I do think it'll be closer because at this point they will have played each other like 3 times. This will be the 3rd time they played each other. So I hope by this point they will have figured something out. At this point. Then Alpha versus Decap. I am going to go with Alpha. I think this is the season for Alpha. Which, spoiler, I have Alpha winning it all. I think this is the season for Alpha. I just don't. I don't think there's an Arcana Emperor that beats them this time.
All right. Alpha predicted to win it all. For what it's worth, I think that means we have our 3 different champions so far. Delphi, where are you going with this?
My bracket already is looking a little strange, so I'm gonna make it a little bit stranger. Amnesia and BSI. I have Amnesia winning that one. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. Capital's a really good player. They, the Amnesia's strong when they're consistent. They haven't been too consistent, but I have Amnesia winning that one. Corvidity and GDH, another kind of easy pick here. GDH, same thing as Navino. Corvidity, just getting there is pretty impressive. I don't think they don't get much for it further. Amnesia and Decap, no bias. Try not to bias. I think Decap just wins that one. Like I said, we scrimmed not long ago, and it felt really good on our end. So I have Decap moving on to the finals. Then Alpha and GDH. And this is where it gets a little interesting because both are super strong teams. Alpha, obviously, probably the strongest right now, at least in terms of record in Trans Tier. They choked last season in the same area. I think GDH is going to be able to pull it off against Alpha. I think if any team is able to do it, it's going to be GDH.
All right.
So I have GDH moving on to the finals against Decapitators. And if this is the case, this will be the second time that Decapitators play GDH in my bracket. And it'll also be the second time Decapitators beat GDH in my bracket, taking it to the championship and bringing it home.
That is some faith right there from Delphi predicting the Decapitators taking the championship. Delphi, which team do you play on again?
Battalion.
Maybe tomorrow. All right, guys, let's get to the last bracket. That's my bracket. NYAA versus Dirt. I like Dirt, but you know what I also love? NYAA. I got NYAA getting to the next round. Skybox versus GDH. Now, a lot of people, when they're looking for their own god, they look to the sky. The sky, which houses the god. And the question is will the win be found in the sky for Skybox? And the answer is God, no. God Hand destroys them. As much as I love Skybox, it's God Hand.
That would have been the spiciest take of the whole thing.
No,
yeah,
you
would have set the stream on fire with that.
I would have been checking Yeti's PayPal after that one.
Yeah, no, that's just not happening. Skybox is cool. I'm really happy for you all that you've had this success so far, and I'm a big believer in you guys. But no, no. I mean, if it happens, I will be in your corner. If there are 100, if there are 1 million Skybox fans, I'm one of them. If there are just 100, I'm one of them. And if there is only one Skybox fan, then it's probably one of your players because I've probably abandoned ship at that point. But anyways, let's get to the semifinals here. NYAA versus Decapitators. It's Decapitators in this one. As much as King's Crimson says, oh, we're going to set up the grudge match. No, we're going to do is set up a proper internet connection for Anima so we can actually win this match. And I think Decapitators win this one. Alpha versus God Hand. Here we go. I am going to pick Alpha to clutch out over God Hand in a banger of a match. And then Alpha versus Decapitators in the finals. Again, you all know where I stand. I am the #1 potato fan. That said, I am also a believer, and I am singing the anthem from my rooftop, and it goes, "Oh, Canada."
Nice.
And Alpha takes this one and wins the Transcendence Tier Championship.
Are we done?
And that is all, everybody.
God.
Now time to predict our new EU tier harmony.
Round 2, fight.
Yeah, no. And now we do it all again. No. Guys, playoffs start tomorrow again. Be sure to tune in. But we do have your giveaway winner before we end this stream. Congratulations to Rook from Frost Nova, congratulations, you will win the free Tranquility shirt from the store. Once again, if you are looking for any Tranquility merch, it's one of the best ways to support the Tranquility community. ! Store in the chat or shop.spreadshirt.com/OW Tranquility. Pick up that Shrank merch. Represent your favorite team going into the playoff, like Skybox. Just saying. Pick up that Skybox merch. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a hell of a night. Good luck to all the teams in the playoffs. We wish you all the best. We're looking forward to an absolutely fantastic show coming up starting tomorrow. So for everybody here, for Bowsy, Booth, it looks like Bowsy fell asleep. Booth, Navino, and Delphi, I'm Mr. Yeti, and I'm going to go crash for the night. Thank you, guys.